right, welcome on into another episode of DCU Daily and Also Curious. It's going to be a packed show as always. We've got a ton to talk about today. We've got some reports from the new Superman press screening. Yeah, we'll talk about what people are saying. Of course, no spoilers. We will try to stay away from that. Speaking of spoilers, the Fantastic Four, the first steps plot might have leaked, but we will get into that. Again, we will stay away from the spoilery part of the plot leak, but we will talk about, some of the outlines of it without giving anything away. There's also a report out there about what the Superman post-credit scenes might be, so we'll get into that. Megan 2.0, we have the first reviews. Also, Joseph Kosinski talking about not only Top Gun 3, I almost said Top Gun Maverick 3, which would be kind of weird, but you get it, the third Top Gun movie that is in the works, and potentially another NASCAR / F1 movie. Maybe they might be reviving Days of Thunder in a sequel, or they might do something else where Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise can share the screen again. So the director of F1 talking about that. Of course, we have Lilo and Stitch 2 getting greenlit, a new set of Tron Ares posters, but one particular actor, the lead in the movie, Jared Leto, missing from the marketing. So why is that? We'll talk about it. We have a bunch of movie trailers to react to as well. There's new behind the scenes images and footage from James Gunn and crew. Of course, we have a new teaser out there showcasing crypto, as well as one where Lex and Superman come face to face because a stupid dog with a cape has gone missing, according to, those are Lex's words. I'm not saying that. That's what Lex said. And, Superman has every right to be angry about it. So we'll talk about that and so much more. And to do that, let's get the show started.
It doesn't seem to matter what I do. I'm always the number two.
All right, Mr. I need to paint my abs on to get nominated. You don't see Robert Downey doing that.
You're kidding.
You're
kidding. I can't open the envelope without the...
Warner Brothers is heading back into the Matrix with a new movie in the works.
Wonder what other surprises are in store.
I want to be Bruce Wayne.
I like that. You're gonna love me.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see chords.
Right there.
You look ridiculous.
Well, not no more, he don't.
What, dude? I can barely understand you. Your accent's insane.
What the needs now?
Give me a hand up. Nope, I'm actually okay. Thank you very much. Oh, wow. Wow.
All right. Well, it's going to be a packed show, like I mentioned. There's a lot to get into, even more than what I mentioned before the intro. But if you guys are here, then thank you for joining in. You've got a lot of you guys already in the chat, and we'll get to you guys in a second. But before we do that, I have to introduce my co-host. As always, with me today, I've got John. Oh, back with the glasses. I will have to find mine, but how are you doing today?
I'm dangerous. Welcome to the danger zone, ladies and gents. Dan needs a break. That's why he's letting this go for as long as it is. So they don't need no pizza. They got food there. Just go back and forth, just like this. Anyway. Dan, get back in here.
Yeah, I was trying to find my glasses, then I got distracted by something. As you could tell, I was looking off to the side. But yeah, what are you excited to talk about in today's show, John?
I'm excited to talk about Enterprising's thoughts about F1 because they just saw it, and I want to know all the things you thought about it because I thought it was pure Kino cinema. But hello, Smacky and Mortkana. Nice to see you both. And Man of Steel Magnolias, of course. Very applicable profile pic with the doggo. Hell yeah.
I haven't. Oh, hi, Smacky. I don't know. Have you seen you in the chat in the past? I don't know. If you're new here, welcome on in, and thank you for joining up. Morkatna is here as well. Yo, what's up? And Majestic Beard John. All right, John is getting all the compliments. Well, you were dancing to the folks. I'm not gonna do that. But hey, we should get into the news, shall we? Let's start the show. I do want to say hello to everybody in the chat. We got Monique already in the chat. Enterprising is here. Brad is here. Man of Steel Magnolias is here. As I mentioned, Morkatna is here. And Smacky's here. So hello to every single one of you guys and anybody else who's not in the chat but is watching. We welcome you on in. And let's start the show with, well, we've got a lot of news to talk about, John. So the first thing, it can only get better from here, at least if you're John, that is. I mean, I personally think, this is one of the highlights of the show. Megan 2.0, the first reviews are out, calling it a campy, over-the-top thrill ride, John. Isn't that something that sounds like a fun time at the movies? Critics are saying the sci-fi sequel flips the first film on its head, leaning more into the action and campy humor than its horror elements, and it mostly succeeds. Does it live up to the original? I mean, hey, people are saying it might even be better. If you love Megan, you'll have quite the fun ride with the sequel. And then is the title character still a lot of fun? Well, if you ask Josh from Larson on Film, the series' crowning achievement remains Megan herself, a funny, sassy, personable character that is still always eerily automated. She's back, but not as the bee we once knew and loved, says Matt Donato from Daily Deed. Will it inspire any memes like the first movie? Well, if you ask Emma Keeley from The Collider, she said that if you thought after the first movie that this killer doll was just a viral blip in the world, Megan 2.0 is here to tell you in the most deliciously over-the-top way that you are very, very wrong. Does it lean into the campy tone? Well, Emma says a lot campier, leaning into the titular doll's new status as a queer icon, and we love that. This is LGBTQ month, so we love to see that. David Rooney saying the campy sense of mischief that made Gerard Johnstone's 2023 hit Megan so enjoyable asserts itself intermittently in Megan 2.0. So maybe not a very good review. Is it funnier, John? Megan 2.0 is amusing at moments, overblown at others, according to Owen from Variety. And then will horror fans be disappointed? Well, Pete Hammond over at Deadline says this quickly assembled follow-up retains the horror elements of the first, but really mixes it up with some kick-ass sci-fi action sequences that actually make for a lot of fun and a much bigger feel. John, clearly this movie is a hit, right? Like, it's this movie's doing it. It's the Aliens to Megan's Alien, except less dedicated to horror, according to Matt Donato. These reviews are great, John. I don't know what to tell you. Is this convincing you to go see the movie? Is Megan 2.0 the sequel that the world needs today? What are your thoughts?
The asteroid can't come fast enough.
All right. Well, we've got Angelica in the chat. Jordan here as well. Hello, Jordan. Hello, chat. Hello, John. Hello, Dan. Yeah. The reviews are great. I mean, again, it's a mixed bag. It's a mixed bag. I'll admit that. How about no? Okay, Enterprising. I got that reference. I'm bringing the energy today. John is just like, Dan, calm down. Let's take a look at the Rotten Tomato score, shall we? Because I think that must be up now, considering the reviews are out. Let's take 59%. That's a little higher than I thought it would be. 107 reviews, not bad. You know what? That's one off a passing grade, 1 percentage point off a passing grade. I'll take that. I think that's pretty okay. John, campy over the top thrill ride. Does it change your mind at all about seeing the movie?
No, I'm never gonna watch this garbage. You can't pay me to watch this shit.
Look, I'm not somebody who watches a lot of horror, but I feel like this one
isn't a horror movie. It's like an action comedy.
I know, but that's the point, right? Hey, somebody said it. This is the Aliens to Megan's Alien. So I don't know.
That people have to like make that comparison is insulting to me as a horror
Terminator fan. 2 to Megan's Terminator. I love that people are putting those movies in the same sentences. It's like it elevates the cal. What I will say though, the other day I was reading the fact that they might have chosen the wrong day to release this movie because the first movie was a breakout hit because it came out in like the early months of the year, and so they didn't have a lot of competition, and it was able to like make a good amount of money. Right now, this movie with F1 coming out the same weekend, then you got Jurassic World Rebirth coming out the week after, Superman coming out the week after that, and then you have Fantastic Four a couple of weeks after that. Even Smurfs might give it competition. So like it's not necessarily the best time, but you know, and Blumhouse could use a hit. They haven't really been doing well. Like none of their movies in the past few years have opened to more than 12 million. So I don't know. The timing isn't good, but maybe the viral meme culture will carry it through like it did the first one. So yeah, that's a good point, Angelica. If you are bored and you just are sitting at your home on your couch,
Go watch F1. Fuck. Like, go instead of watching M3 again, go fucking watch F1. Go watch 28 Years Later. Go watch
Good
How to
point,
Train Your Dragon.
Enterprising.
If it's still in theaters, go watch Lilo and Stitch. Watch literally anything else that is worth a fraction of a fuck instead of this movie. Like, come on. Why are we still talking about? We have a packed show. Can we move the fuck on from this shit? Like, I'm not shocked that it's doing well because, you know, people suck, but like, you know, that's par for the course.
Yeah. I don't know if I said hi to Brad Underwood. Hello, Brad. I do see you in the chat, and Man of Steel Magnolias. But anyway, I just wanted to say hi to everybody in the chat if you guys are watching live. But of course, if you are watching live, hit the like button. We do appreciate that. This kind of entertainment you can only get on this show, where one man is extremely excited, the other one is beyond disgusted. So moving on to the next thing. Speaking of F1, John, let's talk about Joseph Kosinski, the director of the movie. Of course, we recently saw how Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt, you know, shared the red carpet because Tom Cruise, of course, when he's not making movies, he's watching movies or attending red carpet premieres and then watching the movies. The two of them last shared the screen all the way back in the 90s, 1994, I believe, right? So it's been pretty much 3 decades since we have seen Pitt and Cruise on the same movie together. But they could potentially be reuniting in a Days of Thunder crossover. Joseph Kosinski, of course, recently was being interviewed regarding F1, but you know, as they usually do, they get asked. The journalists will ask them about other movies and upcoming projects, recent things that they worked on. And Joseph Kosinski said, "Look, who wouldn't pay to see those two on the track together?" Not only that, he was also talking about how he might have just figured out the plot for a Top Gun 3. So I'll scroll down. This is a little further down in the article, but I do want to get the quote because I think it's really interesting. So in an interview with GQ, Joseph Kosinski said, "I think we have found a way to do it regarding Top Gun Maverick's sequel, so it would be a third Top Gun movie." And Kosinski said, "Not only in the scale of what we are proposing, but the idea itself of the story we are telling, we're thinking much bigger than it's a really existential crisis that Maverick has in this. And it's much bigger than himself. It's an existential question that Maverick has to deal with that would make Maverick feel small, I think, as a movie compared to what we're talking about." So to me, that says they've got the rough outline, but they haven't quite figured out the details. And he's really talking in more, vague terms so far. But we know Tom Cruise has pretty much said they're working on it. We know Christopher McQuarrie, as Tom Cruise calls him, McHugh, has already expressed like interest. He's like, we've kind of got some ideas we were talking about when we were filming the last Mission Impossible movie. So, John, Joseph Kosinski, the director of F1, the director of Top Gun Maverick, he also at one point was pitching his own version of a 4B Ferrari movie that he's revealed, which would have featured Top Gun's Tom Cruise and F1's Brad Pitt racing together on the big screen. But ultimately, the studio, aka Apple, which it's hard to believe that Apple wouldn't greenlight that over the budget. But I guess that's the reason Kosinski said it didn't get greenlit is because the budget would have been too high. So instead, what we got was James Mangold directing 4B Ferrari with Christian Bale and Matt Damon. Not bad at all. But I personally, if I had the choice, I would have said, give me Joseph Kosinski directing Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise instead in a 4B Ferrari movie. So with all of that in this one article, John, what excites you the most? The idea of a Days of Thunder sequel with Pitt and Cruise, or of course Top Gun 3 with Tom Cruise, or would you have liked to seen that 4B Ferrari that would have had instead of Matt Damon and Christian Bale, but Joseph Kosinski in the director's seat and Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise in the race cars. What are your thoughts on what Kosinski has had to say in these recent interviews?
Personally, I think the Ford versus Ferrari we got was probably much better because as much as I enjoy Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise on screen, I feel like they're like Ford versus Ferrari had more meat to it. F1 is very thrilling, very entertaining, and a very well done movie. But like Ford versus Ferrari, like felt like a proper like film. I mean, it had like prestige to it, no pun intended. I mean, you had Christian Bale, Matt Damon, even like John Bernthal and Josh Lucas.
I got that
like
reference.
It had like a higher like edge to it of
Yeah.
like it felt more like a worthy
I mean,
movie. Joseph Kosinski would have made a
Christian Bale
fun
just
movie.
sinks into every movie he does. Like, I don't know
Exactly.
if either of these guys would have played that character the way Christian Bale did, to be fair.
Exactly. I think we got the movie we got, and I'm good with that. In terms of Days of Thunder, I would say make it a Days of Thunder cinematic universe. Just like just have like Days of Thunder 2, because I know Tom Cruise like pretty much confirmed that. And then like have them team up for F1 2 or F1 or F2 or F1 the movie 2 or whatever it would be. And
I mean, it's all in
the
house. Paramount made and distributed the movies, and Tony Scott directed that, as well as, of course, Top Gun, the original Top Gun. So, as far as the remake, or as far as doing sequels to a Tony Scott action film with Tom Cruise in it, Joseph Kosinski's got it down quite well. So I think he can pull it off. I personally would love to see all three of these things. I want to see some kind of Ford v Ferrari thing, but I guess since that has already happened, that's probably off the table at this point. But give me Days of Thunder 2 with Pitt and Cruise, and find me a way to get a cameo from Brad Pitt and a Top Gun sequel, a third Top Gun movie, because I would love to see it, John. I know the both of us have glasses for the occasion, because we know we would have been spending the entire day just sitting there with our glasses on, looking cool AF. And
hell yeah.
I also have the Top Gun. Yeah, I also have the Top Gun jacket. It's actually sitting right there on the couch. The bomber jacket that Tom Cruise wears. Yes, I do have that, and I have the one from the original movie with the Taiwan patch, because of course they had to remove that in the new one, because otherwise the movie wouldn't play in China. But yeah, that kind of finishes the ensemble. So I would love to see more of this. Of course, they're both wearing aviators on the red carpet there too. Yeah, there we go. I love that we were able to bring these glasses out more. This is a thing. I love that we're bringing this back. Like, you guys can go back on this channel like 3 years ago. I was doing this. I was ahead of the system. I was cool before it was cool to be cool. Anyway, play some AC/DC Thunderclap. Would love that.
Thunderstruck, isn't it?
I think.
Also, Steven Ortega finally has a PFP. Finally, Shrek. From Shrek 2. Hell yeah.
Hello, Steven Ortega. How are you doing today? All right. Well, I would love to see any of these sequels. Joseph Kosinski talking about them. I mean, the man knows a thing or two about making a good movie. F1 is out right now.
Because we've seen a thing or two. We are Tom Cruise. Bump, 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 bump. Anyway.
All right. Well, with that in mind, let's switch over to another movie that's out in theaters right now, John. Today on the channel, you guys can go check out John's extensive review for 28 Days Later, or 28 years later, I should say, but he does refer to the other movies in the franchise, so you guys are welcome to check that out. It's a really cool review. I love it. I've watched it several times already. I'd made the thumbnail, so I spent a lot of time doing that, so you guys are welcome to check that out. But Danny Boyle, the director of the franchise, of course, while he's promoting,
pretzels, Steven. I don't have Oreos or Goldfish. This is brought to you by Snyder's, not Zack Snyder. Good Snyder. This is the Snyder we prefer.
It is Thunderstruck Enterprising.
Yes,
yes, not Thunderclap.
Thunderclap. That sounds like a like a souped up STD or something. Yeah. I got the Thunderclap.
I don't know why that hit me so hard. Anyway, Jalen Harris is in the chat as well. Jalen, you're here. Actually, we're here late, so that's why you're here early. You usually join up by the time we get to the DCU Daily portion of the show. But you know what? We will get there. We will get there because we do have a ton of stuff to talk about. But hey, John, Danny Boyle, while being interviewed for 28 Years Later, was asked about, why didn't you do Alien Resurrection? Because he was offered the movie, and he basically said, I couldn't handle the CG. He's just a more in-camera practical filmmaker, it looks like. So, of course, Jean-Pierre Jeunet instead directed the 1997 franchise installment, not necessarily the best one in the franchise.
Nope.
So, what are your thoughts on Danny Boyle, turning it down because he just couldn't take all the CG elements? Do you think he would have done a better job at that movie than what we ended up getting with Alien Resurrection?
Nobody could have made that movie good. Like, the script was bad, the production was bad, the actors were doing like caricatures. I will say, like, I don't know, like, I know Joss Whedon, I think he co-wrote the script or he did the story or something. And it was like he said it was like, oh, it was supposed to be satirical. They didn't they took it too seriously. It's like, bro, it's if they couldn't differentiate, then I think that's a you problem, not a them problem. But yeah, I mean, I've seen the first 4 Alien movies. I mean, Alien 1, 2, and 3 are all excellent films. Yes, I said Alien 3. I think it's an excellent movie. It's where Sigourney Weaver and Ripley's story should have ended. It was a perfect ending. It worked. It was depressing, but it was perfect. This just kind of throws that out the window, and it's just not good at all. And I will say though, Jean-Pierre Jeunet did bring a bit of his weird, like, isms to it. Like, it definitely feels like a Jean-Pierre Jeunet film, but like at the same time, it's like
Hello, Frankie.
I'd rather watch like Amelie or Delicatessen or
Yeah.
The City of Lost Children than whatever the fuck this was. So yeah,
Future monks versus
this
aliens.
was, I mean, Ron Perlman was terrible. Winona Ryder was terrible. Sigourney Weaver was ridiculously bad. Overall, it's a horrible movie, but I mean, it feels like his movie, so it's like that's something. Maybe it would have felt more like a Danny Boyle movie if he directed, but yeah, it's just like, bad movie. I don't think anybody could have saved that. I think it relied on the writing, which was very bad.
Yeah. Yep. Well, good luck to Danny Boyle with the rest of the 28 later franchise. I don't know what you want to call that, but he's got another movie coming out next year. He's hoping to finish the, I don't know if you want to call it pentology, whatever, with one final movie after that. So good luck to Danny Boyle. And with that, we're going to move on to the next thing, which of course, we now have to talk about some movie trailers, John. And the very first movie trailer we're going to get into is Kevin James and Christina Ricci joining up forces as husband and wife in an action-packed Guns Up trailer. Liz sent this over the other day, and I wanted to kind of save it for today because we had so much going on yesterday's show. But I know you saw this. This movie also stars Luis Guzman and Melissa Leo. It comes out on July 18th. Kevin James and Christina Ricci right there in the trailer. You can see it here. I'm going to see if I can, get us some stills on screen. But what are your thoughts on this movie? Is this another one of those, we have seen it a million times before, Mr. and Mrs. Smith sort of a situation? Or did this
kind of Mr. and Mrs. Smith together than apart. I feel like this is like a Mr. and Mrs. Smith 2 if they like teamed up against somebody rather than trying to kill each other.
It's too much information, Ron. You could have just said I'll be back, but
I'll be back anyway. I mean, we're going to be getting into that soon enough. Yeah, I just think it looks like a fun time. It's awesome, nothing like crazy, but it's like I love this weird arc for Kevin James. Like just him being like this weird John Wick-esque figure of like this like kind of assassin hitman type of dude. Like man, went bald, grew a beard, and became an instant badass. Apparently, lost some weight, became an instant badass. Apparently.
But I'm just saying, are they playing? Because I haven't seen the trailer, so I'm like, are they playing it straight? Like, are you meant to take him seriously for this?
It's not as funny as like other movies, but it is like tongue in cheek. It's like it's kind of reminiscent of Nobody a little bit, but like I think that's even funnier. Like this is like kind of in between like something serious like John Wick and then something really funny like Nobody. It's like kind of in
Mhm.
between there. It looks like an okay. Will it be good? Probably not, but it looks fun. Like if like I really want to go see a movie, it looks a little bit more higher brow than like a fucking straight to streaming movie. I'll give it that. But like if I have nothing else to watch and I want to go see a movie, I'd go watch this. It looks fun.
Of all the John Wick ripoffs, I feel like Kevin James is probably one of the few actors who can actually carry it through. Of course,
And
Bob
plus, you got
Odenkirk.
Christina Ricci, who's
Christina Ricci is
great
great.
in everything.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Wait, go back a few frames. Hold on. I don't know if you would have
Here?
caught it. No. Back when she's like looking at him, like she
Right
kind
there?
of gives like, no. Go back a bit more. I think it was
Right there.
like the crazy eyes she give him. I'm like,
Oh
tell
yeah,
me
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that face wouldn't okay. Christina
Right
Ricci
there.
in like late 90s, early 2000s. That is the face of Harley Quinn right there. That
Yep.
would have been an either her or like Fairuza Balk would have been the perfect like late 90s, early 2000s like Harley Quinn, or at least like maybe mid 2000s.
Yeah.
That is, she's got the crazy eyes. I will get,
Mhm.
and I'm talking about like real Harley Quinn, like Paul Dini Harley Quinn,
Mhm.
not like Yas Queen girl boss slay Harley Quinn like she is now. No, I'm talking about like real Harley Quinn. So just like to
Fair enough.
mention that part.
Yeah. I mean, look, the movie looks fun. It looks like a lot of fun. I like that they're playing it straight though, right? Because it's
It's
Kevin
for
James,
the
of
most
course.
part straight, but it's like
He's
they
got
have
all
like
the
funny.
charisma.
It's where it's like is our dad John Wick, and then
Mhm.
Christina Ricci grabs like a fucking axe and like throws it behind her, and she hits the dude in the head, and then
Okay.
the daughter is like, I think our dad married John Wick. Like it's still like funny, but it's like a little bit
Okay.
more serious than you would think.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, because the thing is, I feel like he's trying to work with the
Mhm.
age that is given to him. Like he's like trying to do stuff that's like, okay, I'm gonna lose weight, I'm gonna shave my thinning hair, I'm gonna
Mm.
grow a beard, and it works. Like he's the
Yep.
king of queens, like perfect. Like
I like it.
I know it's
I
easy to
like
shit
it.
on Kevin James because he's like known as like Adam Sandler's friend that's in all his shitty movies. But like, I
Mhm.
still want to see that Russian Revolution movie, Adam Sandler with Kevin James as Trotsky. Like,
Yep.
I wanna see that movie. Like, I collect antiquities.
Hey, Batman
I am a
2022
serious filmmaker. Anyway,
flashback.
but
Back when we had a
po-
Batman movie.
points if you get that reference. But yeah, I think yeah, I like Kevin James is like trying to do like cool things. So
Yeah.
I'll yeah.
Hey, look, he gets to kiss Christina Ricci in
He
the movie.
gets to
That's
fucking
you
kiss
get points for
Christina
that.
Ricci. That's a win right there.
You get points for that. And I think both of our books you get points
As
for
a
that.
fellow fat bald man with a beard, the man is winning. I will give it that. I'll
No, we
take
have
this
not.
representation.
Okay, so the Batman 2022 asking about the Superman post credits. We haven't gotten there yet. We will get there, so stick with us. We are just getting to the news here. So, all right, we do usually like news from the world of Hollywood, including like trailer reactions, and then we'll dive into more DC and Superman stuff. We mix it up though, so do stick around. The next thing, John, is the Begonia trailer. And Emma Stone is starring in this movie. She's kidnapped by conspiracy theorists who thinks she's an alien in Yorgos Lanthimos' next movie. This looks crazy wild. What are your thoughts on this? This is coming to us from Focus Features. Of course, I think Emma Stone and Yorgos have worked on, what was it? What was the other movie that they did? That was like an Oscar
Poor Things and Kinds
Poor
of
Things.
Kindness. And
So
The
it's the
Favorite.
same. Yeah, Jesse Plemons is in this one as well. You've got Elisa Silverstone in there as well. What did you think about this trailer?
I mean, apparently it's a remake of a South Korean movie, which I'd go watch the original because I mean, I feel like in the original Korean version, it would probably it would have worked a lot better. In terms of what they're trying to do. It's just like the vibe I'm getting from this is like pretentious version of They Live. Like that's like the vibe. Like I like Jesse Plemons, but I
It's
feel
got
like
like the
he's kind of
Academy
doing the
aspect
same thing
ratio.
over and over
Yeah.
again. Emma Stone, I'm kind of getting sick of her.
Is
Like
that the
doing
Avengers
weird
campus?
shit. I don't know. It's just like, oh, it's you know, it just sounds really really dumb. It looks really dumb. It just like I don't know. Like here's the thing. I don't mind like Yorgo Lanthimos. I saw The Lobster. I really liked that
Hmm.
movie, and I think I maybe saw one more of his. I don't know if I saw The Favorite or I think I saw bits and pieces, but like every movie, like I feel like the Quentin Tarantino shot. So it I think it just like I don't know. I feel like he's just trying to out weird himself. Like Poor
Yeah.
Things, from what I saw, is essentially a mainstream porno. Kinds of Kindness, like nobody fucking remembers that movie. And I feel like he's just trying to outdo like how pretentious and artsy can I possibly get? Like that's like the feeling like he's got the wide angle lens for every shot. Like people shit on the fucking new Superman movie for using wide angles. It's like, have you seen a Yorgos Lanthimos film? Jesus Christ, that man has never heard of any other lens than a wide angle lens. Like,
Hmm.
goddamn. But yeah, I'm probably not gonna watch this. It just, exactly.
Yep.
I just like, and also it feels like Jesse Plemons is like doing his role again from Civil War. It's like, what
Mm.
kind of American are you? No, now it's what kind of alien are you? Yeah. So, yeah, it's just like I feel like that the allegory and themes are like really on the fucking nose. It's like, hey, like get it? Like incels capture a woman can't be a CEO, so she has to be an alien. Like, all right, Yorgos, I see what you're doing, and I don't fucking like it because we've seen it a trillion times, and guess what? All those trillion times, it still sucked then. So don't insult Lynch.
Yeah.
I would say more
Yeah.
Lynch than Cronenberg, but like I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I still
He's made
like The
some weird
Lobster.
movies.
I'm not gonna act like the man isn't talented, but it's just like I don't know. It's just like
You might not
I
be
feel
wrong
like
there,
he's like kind of
Batman.
like Darren Aronofsky, where he's like trying to out pretentious himself. However, I
Hmm.
will say, Caught Stealing his new movie, it feels like he's bringing himself back down to earth a bit. Like, okay, he tried The Mother and like
That was way
The
out there.
Whale, all
Yep.
that
Yep.
shit, where it was like super pretentious and like up in your face. But now Caught Stealing looks more, I don't want to say run of the mill. It just looks like an engaging movie.
It looks
Like,
more
and
fun.
plus, like
Like it's
Matt
fun.
Smith and a mohawk.
Yeah.
That's just honestly, I might see it just for that. But like, I don't know. It just
Yeah. That's
this
the one with Zoe
Austin
Kravitz
Butler and
and
Zoe
Austin Butler.
Kravitz.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it looks and it's got
It
Leo
looks okay.
Schreiber
It
and
looks all
Vincent
right. I'm
D'Onofrio
okay with that. But
as
hey, you know
like
what?
the
Um,
Jewish mafia, which honestly that just sounds fucking hilarious.
yeah.
It it,
Well,
it looks more like Darren Aronofsky in terms of like The Wrestler, where it's like not
yeah.
super pretentious, but it's like it's got like I'm sure it has like his artsy edge to it. But Begonia, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just I like I'm so sick of this kind of thing. It's like you're giving indie movies a bad name with this kind of crap. You know?
Well, I mean, look, for Focus Features, this is a filmmaker they want to keep working with because he's proven that he
Stick with
can get them
Robert
some
Eggers,
Oscar
Focus.
nominations. So,
That's your
but
man right
yeah,
there.
anyway. Well, hey, this movie, Begonia, comes out on October 24th in limited release, and then it will be playing wide and everywhere pretty much on October 31st. So certainly in that Oscar window, when a lot of prestige
Yeah.
movies come out in late
Although
October.
I would say watch
So
a horror movie on Halloween instead of
yeah,
that.
yep. Did you like Kinds of Kindness, Sean?
Never got a chance to see it. I saw the trailer and I'm like, this isn't for me. And then I saw like some clips here and there. I'm thinking maybe that'll get no.
Yeah.
No.
Yep. Well, guys, let us know what you thought about the Begonia trailer, and we'd love to hear from you. Of course, one of the movies that's going to be probably an Oscar contender, depending on. Well, I mean, hey, you got all the ingredients there, and when it's coming out in October, that's the window when you would release those kind of movies. So let us know what you thought about the trailer, and if you're looking forward to it, another collaboration between Emma Stone, Jesse Plemons, and of course, same director as Poor Things. So with that, we're gonna move on to some Disney news because there was a bunch today. The very first thing is Lilo and Stitch 2 is a go at Disney. They're moving ahead with the sequel, and it's no surprise to anybody because the movie has made almost $1 billion at the box office. It probably will cross $1 billion. It's currently sitting somewhere in the 900 million, 923 at last check worldwide. So it came out with only a budget of 100 million, John. You would imagine a movie that's making this kind of money these days, they might have spent 150 making, another 100 marketing it. Now, granted, they probably did spend another 100 marketing it, but with the budget of only $100 million, they've made obviously almost $1 billion at the box office, but billions more with the merchandise. Like this, we've talked about how Lilo and Stitch merchandise is some of the best-selling merchandise everywhere for Disney. So is it a surprise to you that they've already greenlit a second movie? Because considering this movie, the first one was based on the animated movie, so now the story has to kind of move forward. Like they'll have to kind of come up with a new path beyond what the original movie did, the animated one I'm talking about. But what are your thoughts on this? Are you at all surprised by the fact that we've got the green light as early as we have? I mean, this movie's been around for only a month in movie theaters and clearly a hit with the audiences.
I mean, it makes money. Disney will greenlight it. Simple as that. People
I
liked
think
it.
the bat. Oh, there we go. Oh, there was a spelling error by the Batman. I was like, Lilo and who?
That's the adult version. That's the one that's like 20 years from now. That's like the hard R like version.
That's the parody once Lilo and Stitch are in the public domain.
Yeah.
The horror parody. I mean, look, this movie, I don't know if it came out of nowhere, because I think going into it, we were all like, this movie's going to make all the money in the world. And quite frankly, it has. And you don't have to apologize, Batman. You give us all a nice laugh. Like, we enjoy it. We enjoy the flubs here and there. Like, autocorrect gets us all every once in a while. But you know what? Enterprising, we did not see the Conjuring Last Rites teaser, because I don't think John is a big fan.
During
you did?
one
Okay.
of my movies. I think when I went to go see 28 Years Later.
Okay. What did you think about it?
It looks fine. Like, I never saw the third one. I heard it wasn't very good. I mean, James Wan wasn't directing, but this one, it's like, oh my god, this is why it all ended. And it's just like, okay, that's kind of cool.
I hope they end that
guess.
franchise, because like James Wan is no longer there, so I don't know how good it is anyway. But hey, there is some other news aside from Lilo and Stitch 2 being greenlit over at Disney, because of course they have the new Tron Ares movie coming out, and now
Gross.
Empire Magazine has released some new covers for its latest release, well, the magazine itself, I should say. And you can kind of look at them, and I guess you can consider them maybe even posters for the movie you can collect. Empire does this all the time, of course, with many movies. We saw it with Superman, we have seen it with Fantastic Four, and here's some new artwork for Tron Ares. We've got that one, then we've got this one here. I like both of them, quite frankly. They look amazing. And then they've got some new exclusive photos from the movie itself. Of course, every character you see here covered, in mask, and the characters that we do see their faces, they're, you got Greta Lee as the programmer Eve Kim facing the frontier of AI. So you don't have Jared Leto anywhere, which might be because of some of the recent controversy surrounding him. So I wonder if that's going to have an effect on the movie, because clearly they're looking to not necessarily feature him or put him up front and center with all the marketing for the movie, even though the movie looks fantastic. I love the trailer. Joaquin Roning might have a hit on his hands, John. What did you think about the two covers in Empire? And then what do you think about, again, the marketing for this movie sort of sidelining Jared Leto? Kind of like what happened with Ezra Miller, at least so far.
I mean, the second one looks kind of cool. I don't have any faith in this whatsoever. If this was
so before the week.
If this was directed by Joseph Kosinski, I'd be way more excited. But he left, and he made Cinema this year, and this is gonna I can tell you this is already gonna be a box office bomb, because nobody's gonna watch this. You already have
I
the
want
stuff.
to go see it.
You have this. Well, the thing is, Tron has never been an illustrious franchise. The first one is a cult classic at best. The second was a bomb, even though it was very good. Like, it might get some like audience and critical praise. But at most, it's gonna be a flop, I think, because nobody really knows about or cares about this franchise, and the Jared Leto stuff is not helping. I mean, God knows Ezra Miller didn't help The Flash, even though Tom Cruise said it was like the greatest fucking film ever. That didn't do shit. So I think this is just gonna come and go, and nobody's gonna remember it. And then Joseph Kaczynski is going to be laughing all the way to the bank when F1 makes a shit ton of money and people actually love it. Well, they don't remember this.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
he'll just be like, haha, Disney, eat my hairy fucking sack.
Do you know that? Okay, never mind. I was like, did you ask Joseph about that one? Anyway, Tron Ares comes out in October, so it's definitely not the summer movie, movie event. It's not coming out anywhere near Superman Fantastic Four. It will probably have more of a runway to make money in October. It just depends on how good it will be. I bet you the next trailer doesn't come out until like in August or something. So we only
I
have
don't know if I
had
saw
like
it
one
the
teaser
opening
trailer so
weekend,
far.
but I did see
So
Tron Legacy, and I thought it was
yeah.
really, really good when I first
Frankie,
watched it.
I'm gonna go see it because there's still you still have like other franchise regulars coming back, of course. Why I always Jeff Bridges is back. I'm like I always mess up his name in my mind. Catherine Bigelow's next movie. Oh, didn't we talk about that, John?
We did
Steven's
briefly,
asking.
yes.
Yes, we did mention Catherine Bigelow's next Netflix movie last week in Quick Hits. But if there's more news on it, though, we will get back into it, Steven. But yeah, we did discuss that. I don't know, you might have missed it on one of the shows. I forget which day it was. Jurassic World has been. Yeah, did they lift their embargo? If they did, I'll bring that into the show tomorrow. So that's a good shout. Jurassic World reviews. We were looking forward to that. Tron Ares, though, I have no idea how well it will do or not. But I mean, the first trailer was impressive to me. The second trailer hopefully gives us more of the story of the movie. I like the artwork so far. We haven't really seen much of Jared Leto, be that as it may, but he's in the movie, and Jeff Bridges, of course, is back as well. No worries, Steven. We will definitely, see if there's any more updates on that. Catherine Bigelow, one of the best filmmakers working today. So we'll follow that story and see when that Netflix movie comes out. But thank you, Steven, for your compliment. We do look handsome and professional, and I hope that you are looking handsome and professional watching the show. With that, John, we're going to move on to some other Disney news. Of course, now we're moving on from Lilo and Stitch and Tron to more of the franchises that Disney has acquired over the years, including, of course, Star Wars. So the very first thing from Star Wars, there's a rumor going around that Lucasfilm has plans for The Mandalorian and Grogu to be a trilogy, but there is a condition. So a TLDR of it is, of course, they're turning the movie into a movie set for, for a whole trilogy. The first one is set to come out in 2026, May 22nd of 2026. The possibility of the series becoming a trilogy depends on the success of the first movie. So the first one has to do well enough in order to justify two more, which would make sense. That's, logic. The challenge, of course, lies between transitioning it from a TV show with TV characters to a movie format, which, hey, if you want to have anybody that you can trust that incredibly challenging task to, Jon Favreau, one of the best filmmakers working today, I think he can probably pull it off. I personally, I'm behind on The Mandalorian. I was halfway done with the finale of season 3, so I don't quite know where the story currently is. I'm more or less there, but I haven't finished season 3. So, John, are you somebody who would want to watch a trilogy of Mandalorian and Grogu movies, or do you think one is enough?
I don't care about any Mandalorian crap. I haven't seen the show. I don't care about Star Wars anymore. I think it's oversaturated, and I know Andor is like the greatest thing since sliced bread. I got it, but I just don't really care anymore. I'm sorry. I know that's not what people want to hear.
They haven't put out any trailers for it or anything like that. Even a Star Wars Celebration, we didn't get a whole lot from it. So, I mean, hey guys, let us know in the comments down below. In the Mandalorian, they like to say this is the way, but making it a trilogy, is it the way? Let us know in the comments what you guys think about it. So with that, John, we do have one more Star Wars story I wanted to quickly dive into. Rogue One director Gareth Edwards, of course, we talked about Jurassic World Rebirth is a movie that's coming out next week, so he's promoting that. They have the director behind also Rogue One. He was asked about Rogue One recently on the promotional tour for Jurassic World, and his recollection of that movie is not necessarily what you might expect, considering most fans shower that movie with praise, saying it's the best thing that Disney Star Wars has ever done. According to Gareth Edwards himself, though, or Garth Edwards, I'm happy to move on from Star Wars, and I don't agree that it's the best movie of Disney's Lucasfilm era. Instead, the way he kind of described it was kind of weird. He was like, it's not about how good people think the movie is now. It's about how good they think it is 20 years from now. Like if a kid walked up to me and said, I really loved Rogue One 20 years from today, that's something that Garth Edwards would be proud of. But I wonder if he doesn't think Rogue One is the best thing Disney has done with Star Wars, then what is? You know, like at least in the movie front. But John, are you surprised to hear that this is what Garth Edwards, of course, thinks about Rogue One? He doesn't necessarily look back on it, I guess, in the most fondest of terms. Of course, we know that he had some trouble with the movie, and they brought in some help along the way, which is how Tony Gilroy really got involved, and that led to Andor. What do you think about Garth Edwards' comments on Rogue One here?
I mean, that makes sense. I mean, we are our own worst critic. Of course, he's not going to toot his own horn and say, "Oh yeah, it's the best fucking thing," even though it really is. I mean, that again, the bar is in hell. So, like, this is really the best we've gotten. I mean, is it the greatest thing ever? No. Is it like nostalgia bait to the nth degree? Absolutely. But I mean, we didn't even get. I love how this shot is like shown so much, yet we didn't even get this in the movie, like because it got
It was in
reshot
all the
so much.
marketing, and then because they recut the movie, it completely disappeared.
Yeah, but
And
somehow it managed to be
like they were meant to be on the beach, and like I remember, like I was disappointed because several of the shots in the trailers never ended up in the movie. So,
yeah.
but anyway,
But I mean, I get it. He's not gonna toot his own horn, but I still thought it was a very good movie. In terms of the Star Wars films I have seen, in terms of the Disney ones, it is one of the better ones. I would say that's AKA the only truly good prequel movie. There, I said it. But yeah, I thought Gareth Edwards put a lot of love into that movie. It showed he cared, and with that, I got to give him props for that. And it was good. It was a good movie. But and I will say it's the best. It truly is. He's not going to say that. I respect the humbleness, trying to be humble, but but it's also the idea of like somebody messed with your vision, so
yeah,
maybe you won't see it. I mean,
I
David
do understand
Fincher,
that. Yes,
like
yeah.
Disowned Alien 3, going back to Alien, because he's like, I don't view that as my movie because there were so many production problems.
No enterprising. I don't know if look here. This is the thing, like what John is saying. I feel like his view of Star Wars is tainted because they had people come in and kind of like finagle with his vision. So
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because he likes The Last Jedi or Solo any more than he likes Rogue One. It's also you're your own biggest critic. Most artists are, so I'm sure he probably doesn't look back on his own work as fondly as other people will.
I enjoyed for what it was. It was predictable. It was one note. It wasn't that great.
Hi, Hosea.
But we did have Donald Glover as Lando Calrissian. So
they are working on a Lando movie with Donald Glover, right? So that is still somewhere in the works. I don't know where, but like somewhere in the halls of Lucasfilm, it's still happening. So, but anyway, I want to address Jalen's question quickly, without giving away. So I'm not going to tell you just yet if it's Warner Brothers, Paramount, or Sony, but we do have news in the quick hits that we've got some new casting news from the Street Fighter movie. So we will get into that later, Jalen. So hold on to that thought. We will get back into it in a little bit. And I do want to say again, hello to Jose in the meantime. But guys, let us know what you thought about Garth Edwards' comments regarding Rogue One. He doesn't even think it's the best movie that Star Wars has done under Disney's ownership. And he's happy to move on to doing other things, his own thing, even though I guess, franchise work like Jurassic World isn't necessarily his own thing, but maybe you do one for yourself, one for the studio, like between the creator and Jurassic World. The next one might be something that Garth Edwards wants to do with an original script. So good luck to him, but let us know in the comments what you think about his comments on Rogue One. With that, John, now we're going to move into some MCU news. So let me kind of switch up the graphic for a moment because we do have a bunch of MCU news to get into right now. The very first of which, we have been talking about Ironheart. They dropped the new set of episodes just yesterday. The first 3 episodes are out. And Dominic Thorne, of course, the star of the show as Riri Williams, she was recently talking about how Robert Downey Jr.'s reaction to Ironheart was pretty gosh darn good. She said that he immediately just got it, like he understood what this was all about. Of course, he has been on shows like GMA promoting it, saying like he believes in Dominic Thorne and what she's doing, what the character is like. The show has his blessings. Of course, he's busy filming the 2 Avengers movies right now. So, John, what are your thoughts on this and RDJ's very much public support for the Ironheart TV show?
I mean, yeah, of course of course he's gonna say, oh yeah, it's great. Yeah, what is the show again? Oh, Ironheart. Oh, okay. Yeah. It's great. I got it. I got what it's doing. Okay. Yeah. How long?
Enterprising didn't think the episodes were all that bad. Enterprising liked
How
it.
long? How long do I? Okay. Yeah. It was great. It was great. What's the name of the show again? Isn't that the name of a porno? Yes, of course I know that. I gotta know. Come on. Yeah. Yeah. Don. Yeah, your show is great. Perfect. Amazing. Wonderful. Yeah. It's great stuff. Yeah. Absolutely. I'm gonna just. I'm gonna just have it, and then.
Well, I did hear, Frankie, that Ironheart isn't the most likable character in the first 3 episodes, but I've also heard from people who have seen the whole entirety of 6 episodes that it gets better on that front, and it does have a good ending. By the way, I do want to, because hey, look, there's a lot of you guys in the chat, and we love that you spend your very precious time watching the show with us. I mean, who are we? You know, all the people out there talking about movies in the world, you guys are spending time with us doing that. Austin in the chat saying, "Hey, you guys are fun. Been watching for a few months. Cheers." Thank you so much for that compliment. We, those are the kind of compliments that makes our day and makes this worthwhile. The other day we were doing the Q&A session on Friday. I think Kyle left a comment that he just got engaged and he's going to be celebrating that by watching the movie. Well, Superman, I should say, at the theaters. He got his tickets. Hosea just got his Superman. Well, not Hosea, but I think one of the other guys in the chat said they just got their tickets. But Hosea asking if we missed talking about the Jimmy Kimmel Superman stuff. We didn't. That's coming up later, so don't worry, Hosea. But speaking of Hosea, he didn't get his Superman tickets yet because he has a baby on the way that's gonna be coming out around the same time. So he doesn't know if he's gonna be able to make it to the movie theater the day the movie comes out. So I mean, Kyle getting engaged and Hosea having a baby, it's like, you guys are here spending time with us, and real life stuff that, quite frankly, I mean, having a baby or getting engaged is way more important than a Superman movie coming out. But we really appreciate that you spend your time with us each and every day.
Let's not get crazy here. It was like
Frankie
birth of
found
my
us
own
because of
child and
Superman. Cool
Superman.
find.
I picked Superman. And the woman that I would be with that would get mad at that, well, she wouldn't be the woman for me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, John, you are entitled to your opinion, but I just want to thank you guys again for sticking by the show here, because we do appreciate the company, and of course we love talking about the movies, and so you guys as well. Enterprising bought an IMAX ticket. Yes, I was thinking about you. You said earlier that you bought your IMAX ticket, Enterprising. Congratulations. But yeah, we will get to more Superman stuff in a short while. But before we do, another Ironheart story, John. Dominic Thorne and Anthony Ramos have been teasing a major MCU debut. Now, this article says everything but the name of the character, but I know that that we know what character they're hinting at. So Dominic Thorne recently said, "We know how long the fans have been waiting for that, for it to be in the show that they get him. Let's go." And then Anthony Ramos added on top of that, he's one of the elite actors of our time too. And if you look at the 3 episodes that are coming out next week, one of them is titled Bad Magic. Then you got Karma's a Glitch, and The Past is the Past. So we are all thinking of the same thing. John, are we getting Mephisto in Ironheart episodes 4 through 6? Is it happening? Because at least Dominic Thorne and Anthony Ramos are suggesting that it might be happening. And Sacha Baron Cohen, who supposedly was cast as Mephisto a long time ago. Are they just teasing us? It begins with an M. I already said it, but anyway, John, do you think we're getting Mephisto, or are we not getting Mephisto?
I don't know. I mean, this makes more sense than WandaVision, probably. It's just, we'll just have to wait. I don't think it'll be Sacha Baron Cohen. I think he's too big for something like this. So
if you listen to the comments from Anthony Ramos and Dominic Thorne, maybe he is, and maybe he will be.
Obviously, we'll just have to wait and see. But it could
next
be,
Wednesday. Next Wednesday, Marvel might be blowing up social media with it.
Possibly.
Well, speaking of possibly, John, and speaking of John Cena was recently talking about how, hey, would he want to join the MCU? Of course, he's currently playing Peacemaker in the DCU, and one of the things he said is, "I would love for Iron Man to shake hands with Superman. Wouldn't that be interesting?" And then he was asked more about how would you like to see the crossovers happen. He said, "Look, I would love to see all superheroes across all platforms be involved in the universe. If that happens and I get my wish as a member of the DC universe, I would essentially just walk into the MCU and probably, shake hands and I don't know, fight with a few other characters." John, what are your thoughts on John Cena's comments on a potential crossover between Marvel and DC?
I mean, yeah, if it's one of those cases where it's like they make a worthwhile movie out of it, then sure, awesome, great. Just don't do it because it's a DC and Marvel movie. Like, oh, we're doing it because of that, and then that's it. Like, try to make a good movie out of it, like, because usually
Yeah.
like versus movies aren't that great.
It's
'Cause they're
also a matter
just
of like how they're gonna share the revenue. Although with the Sony and Marvel deal, I feel like now there's more of a
because they're
framework
just
for that than ever
selling
before.
the idea of like
Yeah.
it's like Freddy versus Jason or
Well, clearly, I think
Frankenstein and the
what would
Wolfman.
happen is it would be BVS style. You fight each other. There's a stalemate. You know, Martha, why did you say his name? Or why did you say that name? It's his mother's name. And then, you know, you're like, Martha will not die today. And now they're on the same team. All of a sudden, Peacemaker and I don't know, Iron Man are fighting on the same side. That's probably how that's going to happen in exactly that fashion, the way I just explained it. But I wouldn't mind seeing that. I know they're doing it in the comics, so why not do it in real life? Nico's not a fan. DC needs to be successful first, make 40 plus movies, and then maybe a crossover, which is actually a really, really, really good point. I wouldn't mind seeing that. Enterprising thing, just like comics, artists swap out between companies all the time. Yeah, that is true. That is true. Peacemaker and Drax. Oh, that would be nice. Nice WWE crossover too. Antonio's here. I don't want that because I don't like the MCU. They stay entertaining the little children, let DC entertain the grown-ups. Fair enough. But you know what? I think both can do both. That's also true. 2-hour action movie would be fun, Batman. Everyone knows who the characters are, no need for story. Exactly. Kind of like 28 years later, according to John. It's just, you know, events of the movie, or like there's no plot to that. Who cares? Just do a versus. Maybe just do it like essentially it needs only as much plot as the first Mortal Kombat movie did, quite frankly. But it's also fair that it might be too early because the new DCU is just getting established. But yeah, it's not fair for DC just yet. Maybe in due time. But speaking of Marvel though, John, the question I asked Liz yesterday, we have all been wondering, the Thing has a beard. How does he shave it? Like does he have a diamond cutter for a shaver? Like how does that work? Do you care to explain the physics behind the beard?
I mean,
or the beard, the hair, the facial hair care for the Thing?
I think it's funny. The only time it's shown up was like when they went to the year like 5000 and the Thing was like 3000 years old. So a lot of people are saying that they think that the Thing like time travels into the movie, like this is him from like the future, and like he travels back, like he gets blipped out and then comes back from the future. I mean, I would take like probably like a
or chisels.
Here's the thing, like chisels, you know,
could be.
I mean, you can chisel marble, and I think, and look, his friend is Mr. Fantastic, who's like the smartest man on the planet. So like,
suspect.
Here's this thing where you can trim it off. So but like easy, he could probably like use a chisel for it. But I just think it's funny as fuck. I'm not gonna lie.
I bet you they address it in the movie. It's like probably Johnny Storm is like, how do you like trim that beard? You know, do you like take a chisel to it, or like I don't know, like what do you do? Like do you just I don't know what you would do. I guess that's the only thing I can think of, like a sculpture, but or maybe it just falls off. Like maybe it's just like rocks. They're just I don't know. It makes zero sense, but it's cool. Yeah, I mean, they could make. Oh no, they can't make a toy with a beard. Yeah, no, that would be like kids would swallow that stuff. It's not good. Anyway, the Batman was asking though, are you guys excited for the upcoming Anaconda film in December? I personally am not a fan of snakes at all, so I am not looking forward to it. But I don't know, John. Do you care for the Anaconda reboot? Isn't that the one with Paul Rudd?
Okay. I don't care. It's got Jack Black, Paul Rudd. I don't really care. I don't care about the franchise. I don't care about the
Enterprising. That's kind of my attitude towards it. It might catch my attention if the trailers are good. We haven't seen any yet, so we'll just have to wait for that. But hey, more Fantastic Four news. Apparently, the entire plot may have leaked online, and this article contains some major spoilers. So therefore, I am not going to scroll down. So you guys don't need to tune away. I will say though, without revealing anything, that if this leak is actually true, which I'm not really sure. I haven't been able to chase down the source, and I honestly don't trust scoopers at this point to give us a leak that is actually true. because of how tightly lipped Marvel is. I don't think this is real. By the way, hello, figure drawing in the chat. Welcome on in. And everybody watching, if you guys haven't already, we really do appreciate it if you guys can hit the like button for us. We would love to, get more likes in the video, get this in front of more people out there. We appreciate everybody who's watching live and after the fact. But to answer Jose's question, if the leak is true, the plot isn't all that complicated for the movie. It's a pretty straightforward movie. It's not an origin story by any means. But it does feel like, all the pieces line up based on what we've seen in the trailers. There is a little bit of a jumping the shark moment, like towards the end of the movie, if based on, again, I'm not giving away any of the details. Batman's like, spoiler away, I don't care. I'm sure other people watching care. Like Figure Drawing is gonna go watch it, so there's, even for me, I don't believe this is true. So I hope I haven't spoiled it for myself, but. Let's just say this. Franklin Richards in the movie is not just there to look cute, if the leaks are true. So, and he figures more into the story than we might realize. But yeah, I mean, look, overall, I think the movie would be fine if the plot reveals or leaks are true. I don't mind it. More importance to the character of Franklin Richards than I thought they would give, considering that initially we didn't even think that Franklin Richards was going to be in the movie. To, if the plot reveal is true, then he figures into more of a film than we thought it would. And also, yeah, the rest of the leaks, the plot leaks tie up all the pieces from the trailers. Like, it makes sense what we've seen in the trailer. It explains it. But then again, if it's not true, then somebody's just taking a shot in the dark. So. Who knows, John? What are your thoughts? I don't know if you managed to spoil it for yourself or read the article proper, but would you think that a Franklin Richards playing a significant role in this movie, where we're only just getting introduced to the Fantastic Four themselves for the first time, do you think that's the right move? Also, just having seen the trailer again and now sitting on it for a day, do you like where they're going with Galactus, the look of Galactus, the way, they showed a ship in the trailer? What are your thoughts on the movie? And it's only a few weeks away. Are you excited for it?
I'm decently excited. I'm decently excited. I'm gonna try and find the actual, like, because the article doesn't link an actual like thing.
Source.
So I don't know, like, Reddit, take it with a grain of salt, but if it's true, then it doesn't sound like the worst thing ever. It just sounds like typical Marvel fare. So, like, all right, cool. Awesome.
It's also it's very summary level, so they don't go into a ton of detail. Like, they're not giving you like this scene, that scene, that scene. So it's very like, plot outline level of detail. So again, that's not the whole movie. That shouldn't affect your experience. You can still go watch the movie and have a great time, because it's almost like you read a treatment for a movie. It's not gonna give away the quality of the film itself, because between the treatment and the movie itself, you have the script, the production script, then you film the movie, then you edit the movie, you might do reshoots. There's so much that happens. So it's not like it's giving away all the details. And certainly so far, again, I wouldn't be surprised if this is actually true. But they're playing it safe based on if the leaks and what they say about the movie. 600 million wouldn't be bad at all. If it makes 600 million, I think they'll be plenty happy with this being by far the highest grossing Fantastic Four we would have ever seen. So I think they would be fine with that. Yeah. Enterprising saying probably will still be more than solid. Figure Drawing saying, I just read the leak. All I'll say is Franklin is indeed that powerful in the comics. Yes, exactly. But I think for me it's a bit of a stretch to do that in the very first movie, introducing these characters. But I get it. They're building up to Secret Wars, so maybe they need to do some, fast forwarding. I don't know. Yeah, we'll all give it a fair shake, see what it turns out. Antonio saying that it will probably make closer to 400 million, maybe 500, not 600 million. That's what we'll have to just wait and see. It's very possible that it doesn't do as well as we were predicting it to. But hey, the final trailer's out, and there's a lot of toys out there you guys can get a hold of. I wonder if they're gonna do more things like the TWA Hotel event that they did with the social media influencers, but they do that with normal people. I don't know. That would be interesting. But guys, right now we have to move on to the quick hits, and we got to talk about Street Fighter and a bunch of other stuff. There's a new Bella Thorne movie coming out. So let me hit the Bossa Nova elevator music and dive into the quick hits, John, because the quicker we get to the quick hits, the quicker we get to DCU Daily. So with that, the first story, Ryan Philippe, I don't know how you pronounce his last name. I've seen him in a bunch of stuff, but him alongside Bella Thorne are in a new movie called Saint Clair. It's a small town thriller. The trailer's out. You saw it. What did you think about it? This is sort of an indie movie, more or less.
Yeah.
Are you looking forward to it? Did it impress you?
Not really. I think this just kind of looks like another pretentious artsy indie movie that's trying to be like, oh, look how important I am. I appreciate Bella Thorne really trying to come into her own, trying to get away from like the Disney spotlight, because I mean her co-star Zendaya very much did so. So it's like I can kind of respect the fact she's trying to do like, oh, she's gotten into directing, she's trying to do like a mainstream porn thing, and like she's like trying to do like all these like more, like she also did like the Babysitter franchise. She's doing this. I respect it, but it just doesn't look like a good movie to me. It just looks like it's just like the typical artsy indie horror movie that has become a cliche in and of itself, even though the whole point of these is to subvert cliches. So yeah, it just looks like a female serial killer, but with like artsy shots, which I mean, maybe it's a cool idea, but like I don't see, I kind of see through it, and it's just like, all right, you could have just told this story without being like, ooh, and
yeah.
Giallo lighting isn't gonna fucking make you the greatest movie ever. Just saying.
Look, pretentious doesn't automatically mean bad.
Does,
that's true.
But you know,
I mean, people use it in a derogatory sense. I do understand that. Yeah, I mean, Ryan Philippe is quite a bit older than Bella Thorne, I think. It's kind of unfortunate that these are the kind of movies he's doing right now. I mean, I enjoyed watching his show, the TV show Shooter, which was based on the Mark Wahlberg movie. I watched that for its entire run, but I haven't seen him in a ton since. And he's getting, you know, small roles like this, which, hey, maybe the movie is going to be better than the trailer implies it is. So we'll just have to wait and see. But hey, the next thing we got to talk about, John, is Street Fighter. We've got 50 Cent joining up with Jason Momoa and Noah Centineo, as well as Andrew Koji, Orville Peck, and of course WWE's Roman Reigns are all already on the call sheet for this adaptation of the Capcom video game Street Fighter. John, this cast is actually way more stacked than anything that we have seen from Mortal Kombat, because holy cow, they've got some big names in this. Legendary Entertainment is making the movie. I believe they're going to release this either through Universal or WB. I'm going to try to confirm that. But John, the cast is already pretty gosh darn stacked, and now you add 50 Cent to it. What are your thoughts on this movie? Is it shaping up to be the fun time at the theater that you were looking forward to?
I mean, I haven't seen the first ones, and I heard it was pretty bad, so maybe this one will be better, but I don't have a ton of interest.
Yeah.
But, or is it, wait, sorry, Street Fighter. Sorry, I'm getting Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter confused. My bad. But Street Fighter, I don't know, just because it has like a famous cast doesn't automatically make it good. But
yeah,
maybe it could be. I don't know.
I will say though, to answer Jalen's question from earlier, this is a Columbia Pictures movie. So it's Columbia being owned by Sony. So to answer your question, yes, Sony's the one behind it. Legendary Entertainment is the one funding the movie, and they'll distribute it and co-finance it through Sony, aka Columbia Pictures. Yeah, 50 Cent. I mean, hey, he's also, of course, did that documentary on Diddy. So now he's getting back into the movies. 50 Cent, good luck to you on that one. The next thing, Barbara Streisand says that she wasn't paid as much as her male co-stars for the Meet the Fockers, saying, "I'm pissed off. They'd have to pay me a lot of money to reprise her role as Roz Focker for the new 4th movie in the Meet the Parents franchise." John, are you surprised by these comments from Barbara Streisand? Of course, she starred alongside Dustin Hoffman. You got Robert De Niro, and of course then Ben Stiller. Not getting paid nearly as much as her male co-stars, and she wants a bigger paycheck to come back in the 4th one. I think that's a fair ask. What do you think?
No, the multimillionaire cries because she didn't get enough money for a shitty comedy sequel. Fuck Barbara Streisand and fuck you. To quote the great Kevin Kline comedy Inside, In and Out. In and Out. Great movie, by the way, if you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Awesome movie.
By the way, Antonio, we did have a Superman Chinese trailer we went over yesterday in the show. But anyway, go ahead, John.
But yeah, like oh no, she didn't make as much. How sad. Oh my god, crazy. Like oh my god, Barbara, old woman yelling at Cloud. All right. Oh no, she's not gonna appear in the 4th Meet the Parents movie. Oh no, we're all gonna have a good cry about it. Like, it's just ridiculous when I see shit like this. It's like Kirsten Dunst was like, I didn't get paid as much as Tobey Maguire in the Spider-Man movies. Is your fucking name on the fucking marquee, bitch? Like, it's not called Mary Jane Watson. It's called Spider-Man. Maybe that's why I didn't get paid as much. Like, you're trying to, like, don't get me wrong. There is a lot of
fair. I get it.
Equal pay
I get it.
in Hollywood in regard to gender and race. I understand that. That is an important issue and there's an important issue for like the 1% of actors that get multi-millions, and then the 99% of actors that are essentially like blue collar workers and barely get paid because they're not famous enough.
It's also about are you bringing in the money, right?
When I hear like women who are in that top 1 percentile of the 1 percentile, I'm sorry, you just have very little to complain about, because like Jennifer Lawrence, like, you got millions of dollars on a franchise. Or like, I think it was like Michelle Williams or Carey Mulligan was like complaining that she didn't get paid enough for the All the Money in the World reshoots, when it's like, maybe you just weren't in them as much as, you know, Christopher Plummer, who had to essentially replace an entirely different actor,
it's that,
or Mark Wahlberg. It's just
sometimes
ridiculous.
Like, sometimes these the gripes are legitimate. Sometimes it's just, you know, arguing for a bigger paycheck, negotiating a contract in the eye of in the public court of public opinion, as they say. So I don't know in this case which is which, but it's also, most of the time, look, Hollywood is a business, right? And while Barbara Streisand is a great actress, I don't know if her name being on the marquee sold tickets. Well, I think Robert De Niro and obviously, you know, Dustin Hoffman, you know, Ben, like, and again, like, there's nothing wrong with asking for more money. You should absolutely ask for what you think you deserve every single time.
I mean, don't get me wrong,
but
I kid around. Barbara Streisand is a very good actress. She's a better, I would say she is a better singer than she is actress. Her voice is incredible, no doubt about it. She is a very, very good actress. But it's like, you're in Meet the Fockers. Like, are you really complaining that hard about that? Like, you got millions from God knows how many other things. You've had like Tonys and Oscars. Like, come on.
All good. Well, hey, good luck to Barbara negotiating her contract for potentially coming back in Meet the Parents 4. On the other hand, Little Nightmares 3 has a release date, and there's a Little Nightmare Enhanced Edition, John. I was not familiar with this franchise at all, but then Liz sent this over. Bandai Namco is putting this together. I think you saw these trailers. What did you think about them? Are you looking forward to what they've got going on here at the Little Nightmares franchise?
I have no clue what the hell this is. But good for them.
We should have saved this for when Liz was on the show. All right, moving on, because I have no clue what it is either. This was a shout out to Liz, because Liz is not on the show, but we have the stories that she sent us. Arnold Schwarzenegger revealed his pick for the worst Terminator movie, saying it doesn't make any sense. And he joked that while he was the governor of California, he should have passed the law forbidding filmmakers to do movies that suck. Now, the movie he's talking about, because this is while he's been promoting his new show, Fubar, or season 2 of Fubar, which also looks pretty bad and has really bad reviews. But he specifically was talking about the 4th Terminator movie, aka Terminator Salvation. Terminator Salvation starred, of course, Christian Bale. It came out in 2009. And this was doing an interview on Andy Cohen's show. I forget what it's called, but it recently got renewed for a couple of seasons. John, what do you think about Arnold saying that the 4th Terminator was really bad? It didn't make any sense. Do you agree?
I mean, he's just being egotistical at this point. Like, here's the thing. In terms of, like, the movies not under James Cameron, Terminator 3 is not a good movie because it essentially just redoes the same plot from Terminator 1 and 2. It's just adult John, and now Judgment Day is, you know, it just got scooted a little bit, which, like, I get. And I respect the ending for actually going all in on, like, no, fucking Earth gets nuked. Like, I respect the ending that they didn't go with, like,
for that movie. All right.
I respect the fact that, like, they didn't like shy away from that. Like, they did actually show the heroes losing and it becoming that world. And I do kind of weirdly like the idea of, like, Judgment Day being inevitable, because it is
being inevitable.
Inevitable, because it is in our nature.
I'm sure if you had an edible, you'd enjoy it more.
To destroy ourselves. Like, that is, I mean, look at what's going on in the world right now. So it is in our nature to destroy ourselves. So no matter what we do, it's a very nihilistic view of the franchise, but it's kind of an intriguing thing of, like, hey, we humans, we suck and we're going to kill ourselves eventually. We don't know when that's going to be. Maybe sooner rather than later with how the world is going. But I think that's an intriguing idea. I think Terminator Salvation, it did have a lot going against it. It does have some questionable things. But overall, it's something different. Thank God. I mean, I wish, you know, they picked, like, a better director than Mick G. But I think Terminator Salvation, out of the post James Cameron movies, this is probably, ironically, the best one. And then Genesis comes in. I expected to fully hate that movie. I didn't hate it. I thought it was pretty good. Like, I know everybody hated the John Connor twist. I understand that. With what they had planned, I feel like a lot of the things in context, if those movies came out, would have been a hell of a lot better. So I don't hate Terminator Genesis like everyone else does. I think it's fine, but I get why people hate it. And then I didn't watch Dark Fate. Dark Fate looked like complete garbage, so I didn't even bother with that. So
the timeline of the Terminator franchise is so messed up at this point. It's hard to track, like, how many times they've done soft reboots of it.
But I have heard that they made a comic sequel to this, and it was really good. So I just wish they would have continued with this, because it would have been different. It would have been, like, you know, actually, like, doing something that's not just like people going back in time and killing the Connors, and it's like, all right.
Well, maybe James Cameron will come back to this franchise before.
Well, I mean, he did, and we got Dark Fate, and it's
well, no, but, like, he was producing. I'm like, I want a James Cameron directed movie. I feel like he would put a lot more of his best effort into it if he was directing. But anyway, I've seen enough trailers.
Well, then you can't judge Antonio. Then you can't judge the movie because you haven't seen it. So
they can say the same to you, John, about a lot of things you judge that you haven't seen. But anyway, Emily in Paris star,
I say I
can't
judge
Besson.
them when I say it's judging and all that shit.
Fair.
Like, for instance, Emily in Paris, I've heard it's an absolutely garbage show. I can't say that it is garbage because I haven't seen it. And I don't care about this because I don't watch it. So I've just heard it's bad. But, like, I don't care enough about the context of this show to actually watch it. So, well,
Talia Besson is back for season 5 of the show. So if you guys are fans, then you'll have her back in season 5. I think the newest season is actually taking place in Italy or Rome or something like that. Anyway, it's not even in Paris anymore.
And it's not in Paris anymore.
Hello. Discovery will take advantage of Shark Week to launch a new slate, including Animals on Drugs, which is interesting, an Apocalypse edition of Naked and Afraid. John, are you a fan of any of those shows that Discovery still has around?
Nope.
Yeah. The only thing I would watch is more Deadliest Catch, because that is still...
I mean, the Apocalypse thing sounds kind of cool, but I don't like the idea of Naked and Afraid. That's just...
Yeah, because it's like, it's all, you know what, Naked and Afraid, it's like, it's all blurred and shit. It's like, anyway, sorry. I'm not going to go into that.
I mean, we all know they wear, like,
show
flesh-colored underwear anyway, so it's, like, not even...
I remember when they first started that show, I did not think that would last as long as have as many spin-offs as it has. Like, I literally don't
I have said many times... And my friend has said many times, and I agree with him. Whenever Jai Courtney is doing his own accent, his own Australian accent, he does a good job. Like, no matter what the movie, even like the garbage Suicide Squad, he does a good job. Like, Captain Boomerang was one of the best parts of that movie. Dangerous Animals.
I hated that they killed him off in the Suicide Squad as fast as it did.
Like, Dangerous Animals, he was good. Like, whenever he uses his native Australian accent, he's good. So, yeah, Good Day to Die Hard, Terminator Genesis, no, fuck that shit. But, like, Australian Jai Courtney, he's doing okay. We like that.
All right. Well, the next thing we got to get into is BBC throwing up a website paywall for US users. So
They desperate.
if you're in
They
America
desperate.
and you want to go to BBC's website, you'll get a paywall. And BBC Studios and BBC News have now launched the first phase of a pay model for BBC.com in the US. So I guess this is only true for US users and not users in the UK. So if you're in America and you go to their website, you could choose not to pay. You'll still have access to some global breaking news stories, but then you'll get BBC Radio 4, BBC World Services.
I can go to now the other trillion sites that are
There'll be a
available
bunch
in
of
the
stuff
US
you
with
won't
an ad
get.
blocker.
I mean,
So
would you
it's
pay $9 a month or $50 a year for
of course not.
BBC.com?
But BBC is desperate because I'm pretty sure the government is working to take their like license away of getting money from the government. So BBC is
Hey, look,
is
the
desperate
Batman.
and they need the money.
He's from the UK. He's
So,
canceled his TV license. There you
Yeah,
go.
it's like this is why at this point, and I'm gonna get crass, I apologize. This is why Big Black Cock will always be the superior BBC. You know, I'm just gonna say it right now. Like, fuck the British Broadcasting Corporation. Big Black Cock is superior.
Okay, all right, okay. You know what? Especially this is DC Daily After Dark. But anyway, moving on to the next thing. Gugu Mbatha-Raw and Richard Madden are set to star in a new Netflix thriller called Trinity. This comes from the Bodyguard creator Jed Mercurio. Of course, he's the same show that Richard Madden got famous from. It's set up at 20th Television. So, I mean, two really great actors.
Yeah.
I mean, Gugu Mbatha-Raw currently has a show on Apple TV Plus, and Richard Madden, of course, was in Eternals. No, he's got a Prime Video. I don't know if that show is renewed for more seasons. The one that
Both
he's
of them
got
are in Marvel.
Citadel.
She was the judge in Loki.
Oh, she was. Yes, you're right. She was.
Yeah, I like her. She's a very good actress, and Richard Madden's a great actor. However, it is Netflix.
Yeah.
So, exactly. There you go. Speaking 28 years later, I don't pay for porn, but I will say it's just like it's Netflix, so it'll probably be not very good, which I feel bad.
No,
because,
it's a
like,
TV
they're
show
both good
though.
actors.
It's.
Okay.
I feel like it's a TV.
Oh, I thought it was a movie.
Yes, it's a TV
Okay,
show.
I read it as a
Disney's
movie.
20th
And,
television.
okay, then it might be pretty good. We'll see.
Yeah.
But like,
I mean,
I don't
the
know, it's
Navy
just like-
officer, Secretary of Defense.
It's like it's the whole thing of like movies I'd watch, but they probably suck because it's Netflix. But at the same time, I don't have time to watch the TV shows. So because I'm with Liz, I got a launch. I have been sitting on the same episode of For All Mankind for the past like month and a half, and my fucking parents want to kill me. So like, I've just been so busy that I'm just like, I can't. But like, you know, it's good for them.
Well,
I don't know if I'll watch it, but it sounds.
The premise
interesting.
sounds interesting. Is right up my alley. You know, you got one of these guys. One of them will play a U.S. Navy officer. The other one's gonna play the Secretary of Defense. I can't wait for this. I have to see more of the show that she has on Apple TV Plus, and then Richard Madden, of course. Citadel, I haven't caught on to that either. So Bodyguard though was fantastic. Love that show. I caught on to it a year too late after it aired, but I mean they were working on supposedly a sequel to that for the longest time. I still don't know if it's happening or not. But you know what? The Quickets are done, so we know that's not happening anymore. So I'm gonna stop the music. But let us know in the comments down below, guys, what you thought about all the different stories. 50 Cent joining Street Fighter. There's a new Netflix TV show, Trinity, with Gugu Mbatha-Raw and Richard Madden. Of course, we also talked about a few other things like let's see, we had the Terminator, the worst Terminator movie according to Arnold Schwarzenegger. We talked about Emily in Paris. BBC.com putting up a paywall in the US. Let us know in the comments down below what you thought about all of those stories, and hit the subscribe button if you're new. We do appreciate that, and hit the like button too. You know, that's we really would love for you to hit that like button for us. But right now, we know you're all here for DC. We got to talk about all the different stuff that DC's got going on right now, because of course Superman's marketing is unrelenting, and so are we talking about it. So welcome on into another episode of DCU Daily. As always, we've got a million different things from Superman. We've got a few other things along the way as well. There was some new footage released today from James Gunn, from new teasers and trailers, Crypto, Superman. Do we know what the post-credit scenes are for the movie? We will get into that as well. We also have some stuff from like David Cornsweet and Nicholas Hoult being on the Jimmy Fallon show. Or was it Jimmy Kimmel? I think it was Jimmy Kimmel, actually. And then, of course, Rachel Brosnahan doing another magazine cover shoot. We had Nicholas Hoult doing a magazine cover shoot yesterday. We had David Cornsweet on a magazine a few days ago. We also have some news from Anthony Carrigan talking about his process for getting into his amazing, special effects makeup for a Metamorpho, and the press screenings happen. So we have to talk about that too. John, of all the different things I just highlighted about Superman, which are you most excited to talk about today on DCU Daily?
I'm excited to talk about the screening stuff, like the reactions to that. That looks very curious about that, very intrigued with that. So I'm ready to go. Hell yeah.
All right, awesome.
As Enterprising said, bring it on.
No, the
No, I'm right here.
He's right here.
I'm right here.
He is not going anywhere. John and I are here for the whole show. All right, so it's pizza time, or it's DC time, whatever you want to call it. Get some pizza while you're here. James Gunn posted today, or I think this was yesterday, saying Blake Hart is in the movie as Sidney Happerson in Superman. So this is a shot live off the onset monitor from May 15th of last year, John. Sidney Happerson is not a very well-known character in the comics, but it looks like Blake Hart is in this movie playing Sidney. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I looked up the character. If he was very
true, Batman, very true. I will look for that.
He's like a nobody bit part character. He was like in the comics for like 7 years, and then he like died, and then everyone forgot about him. But like the most he did was like Lex Luthor was like gonna nuke like Metropolis or something. And then Lex Luthor like bowed down when Superman was like, "Do you really want to be remembered, the Mr. Man of Tomorrow? Do you want to be remembered as a mass murderer?" He's like, "Fine, I won't kill people." And then Sidney pushed the button, and they stopped it in time. But then they, and he eventually got killed. So yeah, that was probably the most he's ever done. So it looks like he's just from this image, he looks like he's gonna be just another lackey of Lex Luthor. So yeah.
He's gonna get Steve Lombarded, like as in, well, no, Jimmy Olsen from Batman v Superman, probably. I was trying to come up with the right terminology for that, but anyway. Okay, well, that's Sidney Happerson for you. He's in the movie, for whatever that's worth. Also, John, today in the latest edition of the Daily Planet newsletter over on Instagram, if you follow the Superman channel on Instagram, they have a Daily Planet newsletter broadcast channel that you can sign up for. They post on it pretty much every day now. So today they posted this, and let me see if I can find what they said about it. They said an overheard submission from the Streets of Metropolis. So I don't know what overheard Metropolis is meant to be. Is this one of those like online news networks in the world of Metropolis, where they get user submissions, and it's more of like, conspiracy theories? Because apparently they got a submission that said, "My cousin heard Superman plants those cats into trees before he goes and saves them." John, do you believe in that theory that somebody from overheard Metropolis was suggesting?
Yeah, I think this is really funny. I think this is But I think this is funny, and I wish like Caleb or somebody else was here would be like, "Oh yeah, that's." It's just something just kind of ridiculous about it all. Like having like the conspiracy theory stuff, and kind of having the people shitting on Superman in universe as well. I like that. Like it just, again, it builds the world a little bit, and it's very amusing.
Yeah. It gives more, shades and colors in the gaps a little bit more, because of course this world already, we have talked about, feels very lived in, and so seeing more of that is great. Jalen Harris saying, "I heard from a guy who knows another guy who knows the governor who knows the guy that Superman plants those cats in the trees before he goes and rescues them." Great, thank you for that, Jalen. That's I love how you did that. Because yeah, we're always talking on this channel about how scoopers are giving us, information that may or may not be true. But hey, speaking of may or may not be true, what's certainly true is that Rachel Brosnahan looks good, and yet another cover photo shoot for a magazine, this time in the Du Jour magazine. It's a bird, it's a plane, it's Rachel Brosnahan soaring to another kind of stardom in this summer Superman movie. They also had a full photo shoot, so hold on to your sacks, guys. We're going to get into the photos here. John, your thoughts on the Du Jour cover photo shoot for Rachel Brosnahan promoting Superman. I don't know how she finds the time to do this and fly to like 7 different countries in a matter of like 3 weeks time to promote the movie. But your thoughts on the hustle and also, you know, just again, another photo
She's
shoot with
rocking
Rachel
it.
Brosnahan.
You know, she's rocking it. She's doing, again, bringing that purple in as well. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else to say. Like we've said it a million times. I think this is great. It's again, you know, showing different sides to the actress and characters and stuff like that. So yeah, it's fun and it works. I like it a lot. Like she's clearly having a ball. Like she loves doing this kind of thing. At least I
Chuck.
hope so. I hope so, you know.
I don't know what you're talking about, Jalen. I think you're just thinking of making up things. But yeah. Yeah, there's a few more photos in it. I mean, again, this is just a fashion magazine, so I didn't see many quotes in there that were anything new that we haven't really heard her talk about the movie. But you guys can see this Du Jour magazine. I don't know what the website is, but I'm sure you can search up Du Jour magazine online and check that out. And yes, Jalen, she is married. She is definitely she's married.
Yes,
She's
both
happily
of
married,
them are
as far as we
married.
are aware. Yes, both of them, and yes, uh, they probably did happen months ago. You're right.
Yes.
Yep, Rachel Brosnahan. Damn, says for your.
It should have been me, as many would say.
Dang it. Yeah. They're definitely not, dude. This is like, you know, in Jurassic Park, like spared no expense. Yeah, they have spared no expense promoting this movie. Hunter Iggy in the chat. Hello, Hunter. Hello, Chuck. Thank you guys for joining in. We will get to
39
some of your
great
questions.
years. Thanks, Chuck.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was a sight to behold. Let's move on to the next thing. So, speaking of I think one of you guys were asking about panel interviews. We will get into the Jimmy Fallon stuff in a second. Let's see. Hunter Iggy was asking about people saying that the leaks are true and they're saying it's a silly movie. We will talk about that in a bit, Hunter. We will definitely get to that shortly. And yes, Neo, we will get into the clip of Superman confronting Lex Luthor as well. But before we do that, I want to kind of throw back to when they were in Manila, because I saw this on YouTube. Somebody, one of the accounts, Screen Brief, they posted the full, almost 25-minute long panel that they did, where they did the all, you know, I guess a press brief panel they called it. So there were a number of people in the crowd in Manila. You could see they've kind of set this up as like the front facing, well, the, what would you call that? The facade of the Daily Planet entrance. And James Gunn was there, of course, with Rachel Brosnahan and David Cornsweet, and they sat down. They had somebody moderate the panel, and they answered a ton of questions. We've already talked about some of the quotes that came out of this, but I thought this was interesting. And if you guys haven't seen this already, I highly recommend that you go check this out. It's like I said, it's not even a full half hour, but you can go watch this for yourself, and you get a lot more insight into the movie itself. James Gunn at the end, you know, gets up and thanks everybody. And you know, David Cornsweet talked about like how he trained up and put on a lot of the muscle for the role. Rachel Brosnahan talking about just, you know, the character of Lois Lane and how she's faced with, you know, falling in love and then just kind of balancing that out with, you know, her ruthless drive as a journalist to always find the truth, and like how does that all work out, the relationship of Clark and Chloe as it were. And James Gunn again just, you know, showing his appreciation for all the fans that turned out for this. So absolutely, you know, a great interview or huge panel that they did in Manila, and you guys are welcome to check it out for yourself. So I just wanted to throw that out there. John, I saw this. I don't know if you got a chance to see it, but definitely if you didn't, you know, go ahead and check that out for yourself. And you guys watching, you should check it out for yourself too. But speaking of Clois, John, James Gunn posted this photo recently of the two main characters from the movie. This looks like it's from a photo shoot, so I'm sure we're going to get more of this in the artwork and other promotional materials soon. But we do get them in the same costumes as they were when they're like, you know, kissing and rotating up into the air in the train station that they shot in Cleveland. I think it was Cincinnati. What are your thoughts on this image from James Gunn? We're getting more Clois, and here it looks like they're not on wires. You know, David Cornsweet has just picked her up and swung her into the air.
Cute. Hell of a cute thing.
Yes. Yep, this campaign has been grand. You are absolutely correct, Enterprising. And Swag Fan is here. Hello, everybody. Don't forget to look up. Absolutely, don't forget to look up. Will Lana make a cameo? Who's Lana? What are we talking about? Am I missing something here? John? I don't know what Frankie's asking about there, but Lana.
I have no idea. Don't ask me.
to two main characters, I don't see Lex. Yeah, we will see Lex in a second. We will get there. Lex is going to bring it for sure. You guys should have seen that Nicholas Hoult magazine cover. Speaking of, just dropping your jaw and losing track of wherever the hell it went, John had quite the reaction to that yesterday. So, yeah, we are all ready for this relationship. Lana Lang. Oh, I don't know. I don't think they're interested in bringing Lana Lang into this universe anytime soon. I think she had plenty of time in the Superman and Lois TV show, and I don't even think she was the most liked character in that show. Right? At least John didn't like that character all that much. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, I know, in Superman and Lois, she was pretty terrible, but that's okay.
We will get into that.
Jimmy it's Lucy Lane, not Lana. It's Lana Lang.
Lana Lang, Lucy Lane. There you go. Yeah, you guys are confusing the two characters. Luther, you diseased maniac. All right, Maverick is here in the chat. Ugly dog. Yes, ugly dog in a cape. Dude, you have no idea how hard I laughed at that line. And I'm like, this is the Lex Luthor we're getting. Like, this is great. This is absolutely wonderful. And Ron is back just in time. Elite Easy has joined in. Maverick is here. The whole crowd is here, guys. If you haven't already, like I said before, hit that like button on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, you might be watching on Twitch or Facebook or X. We're simulcasting everywhere. So we appreciate you guys. And let's move on to the next thing with Chloe, because today, as part of that fantastic du jour article that we were showing earlier, Rachel Brosnahan was talking about her screen test for Superman, saying that she showed up to the screen test with David Cornsweet. We said, hey, how are you? And then we read together once and we did one take. It was over and it was such a whirlwind. Neither one of us really remember. We kind of just blacked out. John, are you surprised by this? That this experience was just a whirlwind for them? And then they ended up getting the part. I mean, I don't know if we have this other quote in the show today, but she also mentioned how she initially did her audition at home with her husband, Nick, being a stand-in for Superman. And she submitted that as a video, pre-taped audition, and then from there they brought her in for a screen test with David Cornsweet. What are your thoughts on what Rachel has to say here? It just felt like it was over before they knew it, and they didn't even really say much to each other in that time. And from that to now, they have such good chemistry.
James Gunn saw something, and he's like, "Gimme." That's essentially, they might have blacked out, but James Gunn didn't, and he's like, "Give me more of this," and I want these two for my Chloe. So he made it happen. Or do you Lark? I don't know. But I think this is great. I think this is great.
Absolutely.
Hell
absolutely. Yeah. All right. Well, let's see. What else do we have? Oh, we have some crypto stuff to get into. All right. My favorite part of the show, because this was amazing. All right, here's the clip you guys are talking about. I found this on Facebook, but I went ahead and found the high res version of it. We probably can't show the high res version here because then it will get flagged. But the whole "where's the dog? The dog, loser! You took the dog. That's right, Eve. Get all of this." And so she's filming it, of course, and then Superman just kind of goes wild. You can see how that's gonna play to the press. I just love how he's like, "I have no clue what you're talking about." Then he's under his breath. He's like, stupid dog with a cape, or in a cape, or ugly dog in a cape. He's while he's taking a sip, what did you say?
It's literally the fucking
so good. It's so good. Oh my god, I love that.
It's literally a meme. So yeah, I do have a bit to say about this. In terms of all this, because I know of course I did the one thing you shouldn't do. I read the comments. And
of course you did. Of course you did.
I shouldn't, but I do. And I know a lot of people were commenting on two major things.
Yeah, Lex has obviously not seen John Wick. Exactly.
Although ironic that Lex Luthor looks like John Wick in this picture, with the all black.
He does.
Yeah, they just need to, just like John Cena and The Rock in that intro, they just need to kiss. Okay, so I wanted to comment on this.
Yes.
So the first, I will comment on this figure drawing, but the first thing, is the fact that people were like,
yes, exactly.
Oh god, what was it was okay, I'll comment on the super hearing first. So the super hearing is like people were like, "Oh, but does he not have super hearing?" He's selective with it. Like that's the whole thing. He doesn't like imagine do you remember from Man of Steel? Like he doesn't hear everything all the time, all
He
at
has to
once,
he has to
because he
tune it
would
out, but
fucking
otherwise
go
he'd be overwhelmed.
crazy.
Right.
So he has to like turn it off. So that's what I think. I think he just had it off. And like, why the fuck would he have his super hearing on in this scene?
Mm-hmm.
So I just think he didn't have it on. Plus, it's a fucking joke. Like people need to like calm the fuck down. And I know that people are like, "Oh, this is so stupid. This is so silly." But like
It's very
honestly, I don't think
clever.
it looks that bad, but it's
It's
like it
very
adds to
clever.
the whole it's
Yes.
definitely yes, that as well. It again, it feels like Batman the Animated Series. And I know, and so the thing I forgot, but now I remembered was like, oh, this is the new you're letting him kill Martha moment. However,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. Like, I'm not trying to glaze the movie.
I think that's an
Like,
overly exaggerated comparison, but okay.
yeah, exactly. But here's the thing. I just like I get that because it does seem kind of silly here. Like even sillier than the tone and vibe this is going for. However, I will just say this. First and foremost, the biggest thing we don't have is the context. We don't have the context for that. In context, the Martha thing is fucking stupid. In and out of context, that the Martha scene is terrible. Like it's terribly written, terribly acted. It's stupid. It's ridiculous. Boom. Um. So there's that. This we don't have the context for. So it's entirely possible this makes more sense in context. Is it maybe a little bit silly? I know it's like, oh, like, because I know people are like, oh, if Zack Snyder did this scene, people would hate it. It's like, no, they hate it because in terms of like the Martha scene, it was ridiculous and it made no logical sense. This at least makes logical sense because from what little context we have for this version of the character, who is Crypto to him? I think at this point, this proves that he has not met Supergirl yet because Crypto is
Why did
the
you say that
last
name?
thing
Yeah.
he has of Krypton. And that's why he's pissed because literally the last remnant of his homeworld has been taken from him. And he knows the guy who did it. And he's being a smug asshole about it. So that's the little bit of context we have here. Like I think it's just like this he's angry, and remember Superman has gotten angry in the comics many a times. However, here I feel like even though we haven't gotten a ton of context, a little bit of context we do have, I feel like that makes a bit more sense. Like for instance, the Martha thing did make sense in like the little bit of like, yeah, is the mom who raised him, yeah, that he would be like upset, pissed, but like the context for that and the thing leading up to that moment made no sense. And on top of the fact, why the fuck would he say his mom's first name? That makes no sense. Here, from what little context we have, it makes sense. And the rest of the context we don't have. So we can't entirely judge it. Is it kind of a weird scene? Maybe a silly scene? Yes. But I think it's a good spat between the two. And this feels like a moment straight out of the animated series. So, exactly. So I know that like all the Snyder fans are going to be like, well, the Snyder cultists, because we got to make that distinction, are going to be like, oh, but this, that, and the other thing. And it's like, it's really not that. But like, I get why people have qualms with it. I get
We're not
exactly.
sure if the raid on the fortress happened before this or after. We're not sure about like the chronology.
Yeah, we
of
don't
the
know just yet.
Yeah.
So there is that as well.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, I mean, it could also be that. It could also be like one of the few last remnants. He's obviously it would still be emotional because it's not his dog. He promised to take care of him. That could also work. That could also work. But I'm just thinking what was going through my head when I was like watching this over and over again with, like why would he be so angry? And again, from a contextless clip that we got, then I was trying to think of that. But that's also very Manos. That is a very good theory. Like, like when you get like a pet or a person or anybody and you have to take care of them, even though it's not your own, there is that responsibility. And he feels like he lost that responsibility. So, yeah, I think,
yeah, he needs to learn some interrogation skills.
yeah, I think, it's definitely, and it's just like Lex being just the
Right.
master manipulator and puppet master he is.
This is great.
in
It
this.
just
It's just like he
Lex
throws
in
the
a-
desk and he's
yes.
just like, oh, that was mahogany. And then it's just like, like that's like the vibe I get from like his face. It's just like, oh, that was $12,000 and you threw it against my window. And it's just like the smut. Like, I love.
He probably doesn't even know how expensive it was. He doesn't care. He's just like enjoying the show because it's all getting caught on camera and it's Superman being aggressive, and he's gonna look bad on in the social media world or in whatever news clip he ends
on
up
top
on.
of the fact, it also is a young Superman. This is year 3 Superman. Again, this, as James Gunn said, this is a coming of age story.
Exactly, Enterprise.
He's gonna make mistakes. He's gonna fuck up. And that's what I love about it. He's showing that he is human. So that's also why, yeah, I think,
he's talking about the 78 movie, but
yeah.
yeah,
I think there's a lot
I
of
get
things to
this.
dissect, but
Yeah,
I think, yeah, I think there's a lot to dissect here, but I think there's more than what we're seeing here. But I get it's just like, again, it shows a more human Superman, like the scene in Man of Steel where he
can
fucking
emote.
destroys the trucker's truck,
or like
with
when
the logging
like
thing.
when the
like,
Kryptonians are interrogating his mom, and he's like, then he like basically takes Zod to town over like, you hit my mother, and he's like, and then the whole fight
again,
with the
those are
twins
very human moments.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
just that, again, we don't have the context. Like Man of Steel, we have the context because we have the movie. Came out 12 years ago, so we have that movie to understand that context. Here, we don't have it, but even then, yes, we have exactly, like, he's human. Like,
what I'm gonna
sees
say
himself
though,
as human.
in one of the interviews, I think it was a Fandango one maybe, where Lex Luthor, or sorry, Nicholas Hoult and David Cornsweet are sitting together, and they're complimenting each other. And David Cornsweet talked about how there was a scene, he didn't mention which scene specifically. He said there was a scene where I'm like acting, in front with Nick, he called him in the movie. And he's like, he's such a good actor. I'm like, I'm just trying to hold myself together here, and I'm gonna do my very best. I rehearsed my lines, I did my absolute very best, and then you get on set, and like, it's just Nicholas Hoult is like just running circles around him and having so much fun and making it look so seamless. I feel like he was talking about this scene where like Superman has to be so angry and so pissed off, and then Lex is just like having the time of his life, like all chill, just not reacting to anything Superman is doing. I feel like that's what he was talking about, David Cornsweet, in that interview, which is great. Like, you could see here that David Cornsweet is trying to act the hell out of this scene, and Nicholas Hoult is just like the most chill villain. He's like, what are you gonna do? Grab me by the collar and punch me down? Like, it's all gonna be caught on camera. It's like, this is the world we live in, and people are gonna hate you for it. Is that the person that you want to be to the kids of Metropolis that you like hang out with? Yeah. Exactly. I think, Jose, this is exactly that scene that David Cornsweet was talking about. Absolutely. Yeah, it's fun being naughty. Wrestlers talk about it all the time. It's always fun being the bad guy when you turn heel. I bet John Cena's having a great time in WWE right now. He recently recreated the pipe bomb promo. Yeah, exactly. I remember Razor Ramon when Scott Hall did his Hall of Fame speech. Like, he had this really iconic ending to it. He's like, something legends never die, or bad guys always have fun, something like that. It's great. So it's always fun from an actor's perspective to play a bad guy, because you just get to kind of like play it up a little bit. And I like that Lex Luthor in this movie is more like, oh, you know, he plays it up a little to the more campy level, but I'm enjoying it. Like the campiness here works in the context of the movie. So, all right, John, let's keep going here. The next thing, we have a couple of more new looks at Crypto, the super dog in the movie. Of course, we've seen this before. You see Crypto there. I don't know if he's just there in the aftermath, but it looks like a candy store or a pet shop, and he's you know, literally getting caught with his hand in the bread in the cookie jar, literally, as the saying goes. So yep, that's true. Steven saying, Dan and John, when I go to see Superman, I'm wearing my Superman shirt and I'm gonna send you a picture. You better send us a photo. If all of you guys, we will bring that onto the show.
I'm gonna annoy the fuck out of my parents.
Absolutely, I agree with you, Swag.
I'm gonna take pictures when I first go see it. I'm gonna be taking pictures with them. I'm gonna, since I have 4 shirts, I'm gonna be like, hey, both of you are wearing one of my shirts because I know y'all can both fit in them. So both of you are wearing shirts.
Yep. This sequence here is the cutest thing I've seen from Crypto in this movie. I kid you not. Look at this clip.
At the cow.
Like, look at that. He's like just doing the most dog-like things, and the cow's like, I don't know what's going on. This little guy is just having fun. This is the cutest thing ever. I'm like, I could just play this on repeat for the rest of the night and be totally okay with this. And the fact that they've got like this lens flare happening and everything, this is so good. This is so good. This is why this movie is going to be amazing. Hello, Joji. Thank you for stopping by.
That's also another good point.
Yeah.
By the way.
Yep.
Yeah. Like maybe the what'd you say, like, I dare you to say it again, motherfucker. What the fuck did you just say? Like, did you just call my dog ugly? Because I'll smack you around. That could also, like, he still hurt him. Be like, what'd you say?
Yep.
Say it again.
Exactly.
Say it again.
Say it again. Say that again. I feel fantastic. Be careful in Warrior spoilers. They've even spoiled who will play the biological parents of Superman. Yes, I did see that. We don't have that on the show today. And you know, we will definitely warn you guys if we were to, you know, put that out there. But dude, this Crypto shot, it's honestly one of my favorite things. I'm like, this should just become like a gif or a meme on it all on its own. It's so cute. It's like if you have a dog, you know this is exactly how doggies behave. Like it's like they'll come up to something that looks incredibly like huge or something they've never seen before, and this is how they'll react to it. This is proper doggy behavior. So yeah. Yep. And yeah, you know what? We will begin the countdown to Supergirl. We'll be talking all about Supergirl once Superman is out. I'm sure we'll have other stuff to talk about as well. It says when I said dumb sheet. There you go. I don't know if they're showing too much now because it's still, they aren't giving up much more than what's in the first 30 minutes of the movie. I bet you we're going to be really surprised when you go to see the movie and we're like, oh my God, everything we saw in all the trailers and promos was from the first like 30 minutes of the film. But hey, we'll see. When the movie comes out, we might find out that, you know, they gave away a little bit more than that. But this is from the Chinese trailer, John, we talked about the other day. More new looks at the movie. This is the shot. Remember when we saw last year they were filming this and the way they filmed it, and like they just had like this metal, I don't know, box that Superman was holding up, and in the movie you could see there's a lot more going on. They put water in there that wasn't there in the live action shot. The dog is still the same dog. We thought this was going to be Crypto. It's not Crypto. This is where he uses his ice breath to throw Crypto, well, not Crypto, the dog away from the danger. More looks at the Daily Planet crew. I like how Steve Lombard just standing in the back looking at something. Obviously, he's a butt shot. But it's hilarious. Cat Grant. It's just so hilarious how her eyebrows are like black and her. I don't get that.
I just love like the 1,000-yard stare and like the goofy smile. Yeah, I feel like they've been like dodging Wendell Pierce. Like maybe they're saving him. But it's just like
we have seen of him is fantastic. It is absolutely amazing.
I just love that cigar. Just the fucking leaves.
Yes. Yeah, James Gunn did say the earlier trailers were from the first 45 minutes. Don't know if that's still true. Yes, they are showing the first 30 minutes, and I think the vast majority of what we have seen so far is from those first 30 minutes. People who saw the first 30 minutes said that. Like, it's people who have been at those screenings along the world tour have said that most of the trailers are from the first 30 minutes. So, yeah. But yeah, fully realized Daily Planet crew in a way that we have never seen before. I want to see this shot. We have seen this in the trailers many times in the behind the scenes as well. Yep. I can't wait to see what the scene is and how it plays out. The crew in action. More looks at the kaiju monster. The CGI looks perfect in these shots, quite frankly. I
Mhm.
see how Richard Brosnahan's Lois Lane is trying to figure out, like, Clark without the glasses. They're tackling this front and center. This is not something that they're trying to hide away from. The fact that Clark without glasses, is that all he does to, like, hide his identity? Yeah, dude, Wendell Pierce, The Wire, fantastic. Jack Ryan, fantastic. The million other things he's done, fantastic. He's still in the MCU right now. He was in Thunderbolts. He's probably going to be in the new Avengers movies, and he's now in the DCU as well. So Wendell Pierce doing great for himself. But John, this
Hell
was
yeah.
another image that we got
This
today, a
goes
black and
hard.
white image.
This
This
goes
is
hard.
so good. It's iconic. Just from behind. This is probably from one of the days when Peter Safran visited the set and they were filming at one of the sound stages, maybe in Atlanta. Looks so good. So good. Yes, I love this shot. I want to use this in a thumbnail or some kind of graphic for the show. But we'll wait to see. We'll wait to see where this fits. Everybody who's seen this loves it. The cape is super fantastic. Look at that. The crossover's already happening on social media. All right, so moving on to the next thing. James Gunn also posted this was a weird prom. Guy Gardner and Mr. Fantastic having fun on set. I do like how Mr. Terrific says his mask is nanotech, but clearly they shot it all practical, which again, saving some effort for the CGI folks, unless of course there's probably a shot in the movie where the mask comes off or comes on, and maybe that's going to be CGI. So yeah, I can't wait for the behind the scenes book on this. The artwork is going to be fantastic. The photos that we're seeing, a lot of that stuff is probably going to be in this shot, the shot of Superman that goes so hard. Like, that's all going to be in those books. So yeah. Cat looks so familiar. I can't put my fingers on it. She's been in a few other things. Yeah. Yeah, Justice Gang getting cuddly wuddly. Yes, absolutely. The bowl cut is going so hard. But this is the Rachel Brosnahan thing that I was mentioning earlier, by the way. Yeah, her audition tape that she made for Lois Lane was in her apartment. She was like, we made it in my living room a little bit too late at night. My husband Jason played Superman. Totally get it. A lot of actors do that. Angelina and Bridget do auditions, like recorded taped auditions in their apartments all the time. In fact, a lot of times before they're on the show, they're doing that and they're sending them away because there's deadlines and stuff. And you know what? It doesn't matter what level of the game you're working at. This is still true for somebody like Rachel Brosnahan, taping an audition in her apartment and sending it on over before she got the screen test with David Cornsweet. So absolutely love it. Manos Time saying, by the way, John, I saw that Tyrone Magnus said he doesn't like when superheroes hold their punches and wanted Superman to destroy Lex in that scene.
I mean, the man was already risking a lot.
It's about context, though. It's a movie. They got to tell a story.
Again, it's context. It's the fucking... Bro, just say you want a fucking Punisher movie. Like, yeah. Thank you, Ron. I appreciate
Good advice.
It.
Good advice,
also,
Ron, and
just like,
thanks, Ron.
You don't want a
for
Superman
taking
movie.
Him up on it.
You want like a Punisher movie or a Rorschach movie. You don't want a Superman movie because the guys who go the full measure are not heroes. They're anti-heroes. There's a reason for that. Is because they're wholly different. Like The Question and guys like that who thread the line between good and evil. If you don't want superheroes to pull their punches, don't watch, superhero, quote unquote, superhero movies, unless it's like the hardened, like anti-heroes. That's what you want to see. You don't want to see because the whole thing of like the goodness of people doing this because they can is like a fantasy in a way. Or it's like it's I remember there was a great quote by someone.
Exactly. I agree
Superman
with you,
is the fantasy of not what we would do with power. It's the fantasy of a good man who was given the right power and to do with it. Like something along those lines. I forget what the exact quote was, but that's essentially what it is. And it's that innate goodness is what draws us to these characters. Like as much as we like to see Batman talk and then like punches out his larynx, and it's like, all right, then what's the point of that? But like we like, for instance, one of the best one of the best like moments, one of the most popular moments from a Batman comic is the scene where from the Paul Dini and Alex Ross comic of Batman, I forget the exact name, where the kid has the the gun like pointed at Batman and he tugs him. Like that's what I want to see. Like that's like the type of thing I want to see from superheroes is the innate goodness, because we don't get the innate goodness in the real world as much. We do. I'm not saying it's like totally that like out there, but like it's just, you know, like I'm not saying like humanity can't be good, but it's just like there's that reminder, you know, like getting us to the point of like there is that innate hopefulness and goodness that James Gunn wants to showcase. So I think people you don't want to see the fantasy, then you want to see the hardened realism. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I love a good John Wick movie as much as anybody else, but he's not a hero. He's an anti-hero. So you don't want to see heroes, you want to see anti-heroes. That's fine. Then don't go fucking see the movie then and then complain it's like this is not what I want to see, because you didn't want to see that type of movie in the first place. You didn't want to see this character. You wanted the Punisher. That is what you wanted to see. And I hate to keep bringing up that one character, but like that's the only character I could think of in terms of like tried and like the perfect example of an anti-hero. So it's just like, yeah, and exactly right, Elise. They want them essentially to be anti-hero pushing into a villain. If you want to see Homelander, go watch The Boys season 5 when that comes out. Don't watch Superman. Like, that's all I can really say. It's like, don't watch the fucking movie. Go see your nihilistic, cynical Superman of the realistic, quote unquote, Superman. Like, which I don't believe anymore. I just can't. So, you know, it's a whole thing. But anyway, I filibustered enough. Dan, come back in here.
Sorry. I was taking a food break because I was like, I think you're gonna be doing this for a while. So
I know it's just like fucking. Why is Tyrone Magnus still a fucking thing? Like, how is this still a thing? Like, I don't know.
I'm not giving him my time of day. Anyway, all right, okay. I'm done with my snack. Okay. Yeah, and look, Batman is my favorite character too. I also love Superman. I think this movie is gonna probably give us a version of the character we haven't seen and you know on the silver screen, on the big screen in a long time. So Ron wanted you to keep going. It wasn't chocolate. I'm eating something more savory, but you know, because I didn't have dinner. But anyway, so this, John, is a Jimmy Kimmel Live clip. This is where this whole scene was first released, is because David Cornsweet and Nicholas Hoult were both on the show, and the show was being hosted by, well, our guest host, Diego Luna. So he brought up, he first previewed the clip. They played it. That David Cornsweet and Nicholas Hoult both showing up in two very different haircuts from what we saw from them just a couple of months ago, in fact. And David Cornsweet, we have seen him sporting this, you know, shorter cut for the world tour. It looks like in the week or so they have it in between the Rio de Janeiro stop and then going to London, they're just doing more marketing. And because they're in the US, it looks like Nicholas Hoult can be a part of it as well. Andor is hosting, because I think Jimmy Kimmel does this every once in a while. Like, he does guest hosts, and I don't know if this is because he's still promoting Andor or if it's for some, you know, some other reason, but that's the reason why. I saw this was great. It was a great interview. You can see again the chemistry between these two guys is, we have already been talking about it, is you know, out of this world. Out of this world. Yeah, David being interviewed by Andor. Yeah, he must have been excited because he's a super Star Wars fan. So I bet they had a lot of good conversations before they even got on the show. So yeah, John, what do you think about this? Did you get a chance to check this out?
Sorry, I'm eating. Sorry, I'm really hungry right now. But I watched most. I watched most of this interview. I didn't see all of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought this was great to see. I love how I like Nicholas Hoult is just one of those guys. I'm not just saying like, oh, it's the British accent or anything.
Mm-hmm.
It just sometimes when you just have that voice and how you tell a story, it's just like
he's good.
Like,
it's him
good.
and Anthony
like,
Mackie
like,
know how to tell a good story.
He's an actor.
Yes.
I can listen to like, you know, like James Earl Jones or Stephen Fry,
Right.
you know, or even David Cornsweet too, or Nicholas Hoult. It's just like having the ability to tell a story, but also having a very pleasurable voice to listen to. Like Al Pacino's a great actor. I don't want to listen to him like tell a story for like a long time because he sounds like this and he's fucking 85 years old. So, but like it's just like the charismatic, like pleasurable voice, and like it works. It makes sense. Like Nicholas Hoult has been around the block a few times, not just for superheroes, being Beast in like 3 or 4 movies, but just like he's done this. Like he was in the first movie was that Hugh Grant movie about a boy when he was like what, like 10. He's been doing this for like 20 to 25 years. So of course, like I'm sure like he had tons of advice for him. It AKA,
hey Johnny,
what the AKA what the what it should have been between Christopher Reeve and Marlon Brando. But I mean, Christopher Reeve has said many times when he was on interviews, he's like he had no respect for Marlon Brando at all, and he's like, I don't stand below the altar of Brando because I think he did this for a paycheck, and frankly, he can go fuck himself. Which respect for that. Yes, when he tells a story, it's very enticing to listen to, and
that's like ASMR. Christopher Walken talking is like ASMR.
Yeah.
Like,
and then I've heard Andy Serkis doing the Lord of the Rings books.
Elite Easy, you hit the nail on the head with that, the appearance. Yes. Sorry, John.
I will say the suit looks very good here, and then you just have like Hee-Hoo Kwan in Love Hurts with that sweater. So it's like, but yeah, I think it was I like that dynamic of like, but
Troy in the
what's
chat.
also so kind of interesting about it is like it's like they're essentially almost the same age, so that's also really funny. Like he has had so much experience, and I mean, not saying David's been acting for at least like 10 years at this point, but like he's had like at least a decade on him, so I'm sure that they had so much advice.
Yeah,
he had so much advice for him, and I think that's nice.
John, Troy the Great James says his friend went to the Superman screening and he said that it was amazing. He's going to another screening next week. Wow, lucky
Where
him.
the fuck are you all getting shit for these
friend
screenings?
Of Troy, man. Like somebody passed along the goodness to us. We're talking about this movie 5 days a week. James, come check us out. Give us a free ticket or two to see one of these things.
Don't insult Nicholas Hoult like that. Come on.
We're also jealous of your friend Troy, just as much. But hey, you know what? We have our early Prime screening tickets. So, but this is a great interview. You guys can go check this out. Of course, Diego Luna. This is like an actors and actors thing. The ones that they're doing variety. So sort of just like that because they're just talking to each other on the show. True. Val Kilmer didn't have the best time working. Also, Marlon Brando, I feel like in the latter half of his career was just kind of like going off of his name mostly. Like I can make money and didn't care as much.
I mean, Val Kilmer essentially ruined his career with that movie. Like after that, his career tanked.
Yep. Oh man, he could have had anyway. Okay. The late great Val Kilmer, may his soul rest in peace. But yeah, great hairstyle advice from James. Yes. Dude, so this new TV spot that we're talking about here now in this article, it does show some new footage, and of course, that TV spot we were looking at earlier what was the scene that they showed on the Jimmy Kimmel show, but then they put this new ad out, which I think this is like on streaming services. Like you might be watching something on Peacock or something like that, and then they just play this as one of the sponsored ads before the show starts. And you get a little more footage of the fight sequences, the little hand gesture by Lex. That shot from Lois is new. Some of the fighting sequences are new. That shot of Superman that flying scene shot looks really good. A number of new clips here, John. What do you think about this one?
Looking good. I'm loving more of the Daily Planet bullpen, even though we didn't get a ton of it. Like, and the stuff with Clark and Lois, like again, seeing the less Superman moments. I like seeing the more human moments.
Yeah. Superman, I don't know. Superman 3 was
that's not a good look.
That's not I was
I
like,
think
are
you
you
mean
sure?
Superman 2.
Superman 2 is the one. That's what we've been hearing. Yes.
Yes.
I do want to say though, yeah, I mean, look, one of the things we've been hearing is that the trailers sort of give us paint a picture that's not exactly what the movie is. So it's a bit of a misdirect. So I think that's Troy saying, yeah, I mean, his friend told him the kind of the same thing, that the trailers are a bit of a I wonder how what that means, but like I guess we're gonna find out when we see the movie. Yeah, look, the reactions are great, but again, you have to kind of go and watch it for yourself and see if it is exactly what you're looking for, because we all have different tastes. Robert Meyer Burnett, who's on the he's got his own channel, and then also he's on the John Campion show a lot. He said one of his friends saw the movie today, and it was 180 degrees away from Zack Snyder's vision, which the trailers tell you as much. And he said that the trailers are a bit of a misdirect, but the most important thing was that he really, really liked it. So there you go. I really love Robert Meyer Burnett's analysis. The way he talks about movies is, quite frankly, just amazing to watch and listen. Yeah, the embargo drop. Well, I don't know how close to the movie come. I bet you it's gonna drop in the next few days, if not a week from now, because they're gonna have to have the embargo done well before we get to the prime screenings, right? Because then people are just allowed to talk about it. Those screenings you can't put an embargo on anyway. Daniel Rickman, Daniel RPK saying Superman is good, keeping it pretty simple. Everything DCU posting something from Resident Justice saying it's very Silver Age. It's got a lot of those sci-fi tropes. It's a big in spectacle, drama, and laughs, big in its heart. A very earnest film. It feels like a live action episode of Superman the animated series. Exactly, Manos Time. That makes me very curious indeed, because I mean that it's one of those things where like our opinions are different. We are how we measure something for quality is different. So like for one person saying it feels like Superman the animated series may be very different than from somebody else thinking about Superman the animated series, because it depends on like how you remember the show. But in general, the sentiment I understand. Yes, okay, Steven, you did mean Superman 2, so absolutely. Swag fan saying, I love misdirect trailers. I remember the little tease for Terminator 2. We thought Arnold was another evil cyborg. Yes, this is not the first time we would have seen something like that where they misdirected us. Right. As long as the misdirect doesn't mean that a lot of the footage in the trailer is not in the movie, then I'm okay.
Like
just the context being different is fine. Yeah.
Like what Infinity War and Endgame did, where it's like the running shot and it's like totally different. Misdirects aren't bad. It's just don't mismarket it. Like another big one I remember was It Comes at Night. It was supposed it was like, oh, it's gonna be a zombie horror movie, when it was really a family drama with a post-apocalyptic setting.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just mismarketed, and then I didn't expect it, and I didn't like it as much. So misdirects aren't too bad. Just like don't mismarket the movie, and we're getting a totally different movie. But like the vibe of this like sci-fi Silver Age is the vibe I'm getting from the trailer. So that at least is good.
Yeah. Yep. I love the reactions. I mean, these reactions are exactly what you would want to hear. And I mean, we've gotten some reactions from a few days ago. There's more now. People seeing the first 30 minutes, people seeing the entire movie. The press screenings, I'm glad that we're starting to get more of those reactions. I think the review embargo, like we were talking about, will probably drop in a few days. I'll try to find out when exactly the review embargo lifts, because we want to obviously keep our eye out for the reviews. But yeah, the animated series was one of the best interpretations of Superman to date. It holds up today. And then the Superman that we see in the Justice League shows, the Justice League Unlimited. If you're getting that in real life, all I ever wanted was the Justice League show turned into a real life thing. I hope that when we get a Justice League movie, they use that intro music. Especially Justice League Unlimited intro music goes so hard. Like, holy cow, I would love to see that. Damn. And I know that James Gunn probably knows that more than most filmmakers would give it credit for. Like, adapt that music in live action. George is here, says, damn it, missed the start again. Start later, guys. We started at 11 p.m. Eastern time. That's pretty late, but you know what? You can be kind and rewind, and we're still going to be here for a little while, so definitely stick around. But thank you for stopping by, George. Yogesh is here. Yogesh Nikam saying, Superman is going to be great. I am so excited, and 4 heart emojis. Thank you for stopping by. And of course, if you're new, then hit the subscribe button, hit the like button while you're here. So welcome on in Yogesh and George. Jalen saying July 7th. Dan, July 7th is when the review embargo drops, the day before the Prime screening. So I can't wait for that. We'll be here live talking about it that Monday, and then we'll be talking about the movie that Tuesday, giving you our spoiler-free review. And then the rest of the week, we'll be talking about the movie. On Friday, we'll do a full spoiler discussion. The whole crew will be here. Bridget will be here. Liz will be here. I will be here. John will be here. And you guys will be here. We'll be talking about it in detail. And probably that day, I might even skip all the news, just go straight to Superman and talk about that for 3 hours. So, yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be lots and lots of fun. A lot of you guys loved the animated series. And yes, the review embargo drops on the 7th of July. Thank you for confirming Manos Time and the excitement people have for this movie. I mean, I hope it translated into the financial success that we want. If you guys are new, by the way, we have a list going. So I just want to take this opportunity to bring that up. John, why don't you show them the list that we have got going? Because
I actually don't have it on paper anymore. I had
Oh,
to
really?
I had to put it on a
Okay.
spreadsheet because I had to keep adding names.
Can you put that up on screen? Is it not like presentable?
I can.
Yeah, because let's talk about this for a second, because we have a lot of new people watching today. I want to get you guys' opinions on this, because we have a list running for how much money Superman's gonna make at the box office, and I see here Manos Time just changed his number to $1 billion. I don't know if your previous number was lower than that. It's gonna be hard to avoid spoilers. You're right, Ron. But if you guys are new and you haven't given us your number, we want to know how much money Superman's going to make at the box office by the time it's all said and done. Because we have all made predictions. Obviously, we talk about opening weekend a lot, and those numbers will change as we get closer to the release. But what I also want to know is what you guys think the movie's going to make overall at the box office. Is it going to make $1 billion? Is it going to make 500 million? Is it going to make 200 million? Like, for example, Man of Steel made like 671 million, I think the number was. BVS, like Batman v Superman, made like 891 million, something to that effect. The first Wonder Woman movie made like 800 million. The Batman made like 700 some odd million. So, you know what? When Fiona's here, we do have she's a moderator, and one of you guys might be graduating to a moderator role soon. It just depends, because you have to be here pretty much every show in order to be a moderator. But
yeah,
Frankie G saying he said $1 billion. But John, we do have new folks watching, so I don't know, George, if you have given us your prediction. Yogesh, I don't know if you've told us how much you think the movie's gonna make. If you guys haven't told us how much you think it's gonna make, let us know. We would love to. We'd love to get your number. And John's gonna probably put the whole spreadsheet up. So everybody
having a little bit of trouble. I don't know why. It's I forget. I have a lot of accounts, so I don't know which one I put it on. I'm just
John, don't lose the list, man. What are you doing?
I don't.
Figure drawing, though. I agree with you. I'm thinking the comp for this movie is the Batman. That's what I've been saying for a long time. 700 to 800 million is probably what I think is going to do ultimately. It could do more. Anything more than that would be amazing. Anything even close to that, there will be popping bottles over at Warner Brothers. Yeah, it's definitely gonna have a bigger opening weekend than what Man of Steel did all the way back when. So there you go. Jose is saying I spoke to Resident Justice yesterday. He said someone told him this. He hasn't seen it himself yet. Okay, there you go. So it's not exactly Resident Justice's first-hand opinion. All right, we've got a number in the chat, John. Kings RI7. Welcome on into the show. I don't believe we have seen you here before, or at least not in the chat. So hit that like button while you're here. We've got a new number, John. Kings RI7 saying 800 million. So there you go. I feel like I'm an auctioneer right now. Nico saying still 1 billion. I think Superman will make Aquaman numbers. Yeah, Aquaman is the highest grossing movie in DC history. Where the Cape is here. Hello, Where the Cape saying 860 to 900 million. That overseas money is gonna show. Look up. There you go. There you go. All right. So we've got numbers coming in. Troy is given his number. Let's see. Oh, Pacerland. Sorry, man. That was a rough end to this finals, and Tyrese Halliburton, our best wishes to him in his recovery.
Yeah.
But welcome on into the show, Pacerland. Too much hype not to make $1 billion. That's a good point. That's a good point. Figure Drawing is on board with my prediction. All right, cool. You and I agree. All right. Let's see. What else do we have? Jordan saying if Superman hits $1 billion, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. Troy saying it's hard on the July releases. There's so many movies coming out. I know what you did last summer, Fantastic Four. Yeah, I mean, Superman is gonna have plenty of competition, so it's not like it's gonna be able to just cruise to $1 billion. But you never know; it might still be able to get there. So it's just a matter of how good the movie is. People are gonna go see it again and again because we want to get repeat viewings. That's what's gonna help it out, and that's how you get to $1 billion. No matter what movie it is, you need people to go see it multiple times. Smacky asking, do you think the July 8th release will help the hype or for the official opener on the 11th? I think so, especially if this movie, as good as all the people who have seen it are talking about it the way they're talking about it, the early good word of mouth, the fact that they're doing an early screening goes to show you that DC Studios thinks they've got something really, really good on their hands. Otherwise, they would try to hide it as long as they could. So I do think that the early July 8th screenings and all the fan reactions, the reviews flooding the internet, is going to help build up the hype, and people are going to go see it then the next day, the day after that, and hopefully all weekend long. And usually those early screening numbers get, added into the opening weekend numbers. So those numbers from July 8th will count towards the opening weekend. And if you guys remember,
I tried to
the ticket sales for that
certain things because I didn't want people seeing my private account, but like I couldn't make it work. So people are just gonna see my private account now. So oh well. All right, trying to fucking be private on this fucking godforsaken app. Oh fucking well. But here it is.
Can you zoom into it? Because we don't quite.
Yeah, I'm gonna zoom in real quick. Hang on, I got a fucking million.
I think both of us have seen the original animated series, Steven. We both love it.
I've seen the first like 3 episodes.
All right. Well, I've seen a lot more of it than John has. There you go.
but yeah, there it is. Hold on.
All right, we have some predictions in there. Okay, let's see. Who are we missing? Because I did get some numbers earlier today. What did Frankie say? Frankie was calling for $1 billion. So do we have Frankie in there right now?
No, I don't think so.
All right, so get Frankie G down for $1 billion. We also
actually no, Frankie G is in there. Sorry, my bad.
All right, so $1 billion. Okay, all right, and King's RI7 calling for 800 million. All right,
let me.
Let's make it a little bit bigger. We gotta be able to see this.
King, 800 million.
800 million.
All right, so you're down here with Swack Fan.
Then we have Wear the Cape.
King's RI. Wait, King's RI. What is it?
King's RI7. King's RI7 with the 800 million. We're doing this live, guys. This is live television, live internet TV. I don't know. Wear the Cape. Is Wear the Cape in there somewhere?
Nope.
He's given she or they are saying 860 to 900 million. So there we go. We're adding your number. We're editing this spreadsheet live. Let the internet be your witness. Your numbers are being noted down because we will come back and check on this and see if anybody got the prices right. And maybe somebody will win a prize. We'll see. But Nico calling for $1 billion. Nico. I don't know if Nico's in there right now.
Yep, they're in there.
All right, $1 billion. Jordan Vargas saying $1 billion. I would not be surprised. I don't know if you have Jordan Vargas in there. We got to get him in there. Jordan saying $1 billion. We got to give Elite Eazy-E some extra credit because he's overly optimistic. He's not only given us 1.2 billion overall, but an $185 million opening. So we've got Elite Eazy-E. His numbers kept on going up. I know that he was a bit more reserved early on, but keeps on going
I don't think Elite Eazy ever gave me his or theirs.
Well,
sorry,
you have it right there. Let's note it down. We gotta get it in there. Shout out to the lurkers, says Jose. There you go. Pazerland saying, love what Robert Meyer Burnett was told today after the screening. Superman 2 on steroids. Love Superman 2. Exactly. Manos Time. Manos Time, is he in there already? He's saying $1 billion. $1 billion.
I thought Manos. Right. Yeah, Manos is changing his because
his numbers going up.
They said it was 770 million.
Do you want to note the old number down somewhere so we know like he's changed his mind?
The sheet has a history. So
okay, great. That's good. Okay, all right.
So
we'll
you say $1 billion. All right. A lot of people are saying $1 billion.
Yep. Super Jurassic 4 this July. Jordan, we actually did a tier list on Super Jurassic. Like we ranked all the movies, the big movies in July, and the tier list. I think this was 2 weeks ago. So like I'll see if I can post that as its own video. Okay. Yogesh saying 800 to 900 million. If it makes $1 billion, that's great. So I think we'll take 800 to 900 million for you. All right.
Hold on.
Steven saying I'm gonna make my prediction tomorrow or next week. John, is this this is for the overall? Like how much money is
This
gonna
is
make
for
in
the
total?
overall.
Yeah. Where the cape is like, might as well make a bet on the year that Batman 2 comes out. You know what? No, we're gonna do that on a separate spreadsheet, and the only option there is gonna be To Infinity and Beyond. But anyway, so the question that Smacky's asking though is a good one, John. We've talked about this before. How much money does the movie need to make to be considered a success?
We don't know because we don't know the budget yet.
I don't care about the budget. I mean, the rumors are like 200 million, 50 million, something like that. And then they've been spending anywhere from 100 to 200 million on the marketing. So if you go off of that, this movie needs to make like 800, 900 million, or probably like 750 at least to break even. I, for one thing, if it makes over 500 million, it's a success. Quite frankly, it's a success. And what's going to matter even more is if the reviews are great and people really love the movie. Because even if this movie is financially a flop, if it is a critical success, if the fans love it, and
that's what happened with the Suicide Squad. It was a flop, but it got a lot of praise.
It got James Gunn the job to run the new DCU. It was that movie. I mean, clearly it didn't matter that movie flopped financially. So yeah, we will all be very heavily depressed if it does flop. So.
Well, technically number 8, but if we're not including like the, label, then yes, it's number 7.
Holy cow, dude! King's RI7 is traveling 2,000 kilometers to watch Superman in IMAX opening day. Wow, that is a lot of
Johnny Rico,
distance,
right here,
man. All right, yep, we got him in there. Do we have Jojit in there? Jojit saying 900 million for me. The worldwide promotion tour is looking very effective so far. There you go. There you go. Ranky G saying Superman will not flop. Okay. Ron is not changing his prediction. 900,
so 900 million. All right.
900.
Right next to Enterprising.
Manos Time saying JW doesn't sound like a big smash, or Jurassic World doesn't sound like a big smash, but again, it's a Garth Edwards movie, so it does look great visually. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing about Garth Edwards. I don't know, he does good visual stuff, but maybe his stories, like the creator, was just like, I've seen it before. I've seen that movie, and the execution wasn't quite there. Enterprising is holding on to his prediction, hoping that he can beat it. He could also put Blade 2. Okay, yes, the same spreadsheet as the Batman 2. We're gonna put Blade in there as well. Hosea saying 700. Do we have Hosea in there? 700 million?
Yeah, Hosea said 1.2 billion.
Are you sure, Hosea? You want to stick with, you want to go 700 or you want to go to $1 billion? Because you have it 1.2 billion. You must have been feeling really good about that. Johnny's saying this is gonna have a lot of legs.
Ron, you are at the lowest.
Yes,
with
exactly.
500 million. Ron, do you want to change yours, or are you still playing it safe?
Yeah, 400 to 500 million for this movie, including all the marketing, the P&A, the production and advertising, or promotion and advertising as they call it, and the production cost. That seems about the right number, but also they're going to have tax credits, like Ohio gave them a huge tax credit, all the sponsorship deals and all the product placements. So that does belay some of the cost. So, out the door, I think for this movie, their entire spend might be somewhere between 300 to 400 million, because like they must have made some of that money back from the sponsorship deals and product placements and tax credits. But yeah, hopefully, look, this movie I think easily makes over 500 million. Beyond that, it's all gravy. So
gotcha. Hosea, just that's essentially why mine is like 768, because I think that's like the safest option.
I agree with you, Lee DZ. Absolutely agree with you on that sentiment. Playing it safe, says Ron. Yeah, I mean, okay, fair enough, but like it
also came out like 2 or 3 days before that.
Yes. What I was gonna say is I actually had this up the other day. Let me see if I can find it.
And on top of the fact, for the tickets on sale, the thing is, we just got a Superman trailer like a week or two prior, while we hadn't got a Fantastic Four trailer for like months. So I think there was the idea of like we hadn't seen as much Fantastic Four, so they had to market it.
No, I agree. I was actually just gonna see if I can find this article that I had for box office forecasts because they were giving us updated numbers for all these different movies. Um, and Superman is still predicted to do well ahead of where Fantastic Four was gonna finish. Because Fantastic Four is predicted to open to like what 145 million. Superman is still looking a lot higher on that list. But anywho, okay. All right, 700 to be successful. Great. Nothing wrong with a conservative prediction to one's expectations grounded. Yeah, exactly. You're going to sneak in some snacks? Yeah. Probably some candy. I'm not quite boycotting the snacks situation that John Campia is talking about because I don't go to the movie theater as often as I'd like to, and when I do, I'm just like, what, you know. I still walk in 20 minutes late, and I don't care if I missed the first scene. The last two movies I went to see, I missed like the first 2 minutes. It was fine. Like I missed J.K. Simmons getting shot at the beginning of The Accountant too. It's fine. Like I knew that happened in the trailer. Like you don't miss much. You see all that stuff in the marketing anyway. So I take my risks. But anyway, all right, John. The list here so far. Ron is at the very bottom, staying very conservative with 500 million. Then we are going up the list, and you see so many numbers. Liz 772 million. What's my number? 825 million. Okay. And then we keep going up. We very quickly get to $1 billion. A lot of you guys have $1 billion numbers.
Many people say at least $1 billion, and
that's like half the
said
people
maybe
in the
$1 billion.
list.
That's why I put like in
half
a question
the people
mark.
in that list. Oh
but
my
like
god, half
Angelica Kate was the first one, and then M8 was very like 700, but like could be $1 billion. But yeah, a lot of people are saying $1 billion.
I might raise my expectations, dude, the closer we get to this movie. But all right, John, let's go back to the other screen for a moment because we do have to talk about Anthony Carrigan explaining his metamorpho transformation, saying he was glued in, sewn in, completely enveloped. It was a 5 to 6 hour process of becoming the metahuman. I mean, I can only imagine this is kind of similar to Colin Farrell and the Penguin.
Yeah,
like you had to sit
we're in the suit, we're in that fucking suit.
I mean, it's an incredible costume. I feel like this alone should help this movie get like the Oscar for best hair and makeup.
I mean, if fucking like Suicide Squad gets the Oscar for makeup and hairstyling, then
I think the Regal ones are pretty good, Enterprising the popcorn buckets, and then AMC has a couple of good ones. Cinemark has the one with Crypto holding the bucket. I thought that was a really good one. Yeah. Hey, Swag fan saying he hopes for $1 billion, but he's keeping it to 700 to 800 million for his prediction. All right, so Anthony Carrigan said, "I'm not kidding when I say that I was glued in, sewn in. I was completely enveloped. I was tied in, roped in, basically, but all in service of this incredible costume." And incredible costume it is, John. When they first said we're gonna get Metamorpho, a lot of us were thinking they were gonna do a lot of this in CGI. And yes, there are CGI elements to his costume that we see in the movie. Even the kryptonite thing might be CGI. But you see so much of it was done practically. It's so good. And it's photoreal. It looks good. It moves well with him when he's like bending his arms and his legs. It's everything we have seen so far. Like they did not spare any expense on that. So yeah, it's a tough job. I bet he was probably getting hot under all that makeup and the latex and everything. And then, you know, spending the first half of your day just in the makeup chair before you even get out there. Can you imagine 5-6 hours into your job? You're only just going out to do the work, like, and you were just like being worked on that whole time. Yeah, and you're carrying all that extra weight on you, and it's probably not as breathable. So, thank you, Figure Drawing. That's a great compliment. Yeah, thank you for blaming us.
I hope it's a compliment.
All the hype.
I think it is.
The hype machine builds, and we are here to build it for you because that's what we're here for. We are here to cheer on the new DCU. That's why we're called DCU Daily. There, it's in the name. Yeah, Anthony Carrigan, John, what are your thoughts on this? The metamorpho
I think it's great.
costume
Like, you know, he understands the process. He's kind of the guy that, you know, definitely is usually playing like the quote unquote monsters, I guess. The guy that is in the suit a lot and all that. So I think he understands the process and he's like, you know what, I'm going full on into it and I'm cool with it. I got paid, so that's fine with me.
Yeah, Man of Time, I do agree with your sentiments. F4 is not under a ton of pressure because, I mean, honestly, if it sucks, they still will have these characters in the Avengers movies. Marvel does want it to succeed though, because it has that curse being the Fantastic Four. Like they haven't done very well in the past. But Warner Brothers does need to have Superman succeed a whole hell of a lot more because it's launching a whole cinematic universe. I do agree with you on that. But hey, yes, this is a positive space on the channel. We don't like to knock things down. We like to lift them up. That's why we are talking about Superman. And Superman is always asking us to look up, so that's what we do. We hope to get a Metamorpho movie, maybe even like a HBO Max TV movie. I would take it, or maybe a mini series. I wouldn't mind a whole Metamorpho situation, and maybe more Baby Joey. And maybe Baby Joey is actually not, even though he's hard to look at sometimes. Honestly, I hope Baby Joey is a cute character that we will come away from the movie thinking, oh, that's the next Baby Yoda. That's the next Grogu. Is Baby Joey? Hopefully. But yeah, you know what? James Gunn's love for practical costumes goes all the way back to his time in Troma. They did a lot of practical stuff in the Guardians movies, which was, the opposite of what they do in a lot of other Marvel movies. So yeah, he doesn't use the VFX as a crutch. He leans into the practicality of things as much as possible. Sometimes it's just not possible to do something practically, but you can see the engineer's costume. They've augmented that with a lot of VFX with the nanotech, but ultimately, I think the costume for Metamorpho is probably one of the most impressive things we have seen so far from this movie, even before we see the movie itself. So yeah. Yeah, we probably will be comparing the first Iron Man movie with budgets and with Superman, but they're two completely different movies from two completely different eras. And whereas the DCU is being launched with an intention to be a cinematic universe, with Iron Man, they were just hoping it's a good movie, and then maybe they were going to do some crossovers. But so, it wasn't the same thing. And Marvel, quite frankly, at the time made the most expensive indie movie of all time in Iron Man. And thankfully it worked. If it didn't, then the MCU wouldn't be around today. Whereas the DCU is on its way. We've got Supergirl coming, Lanterns, Peacemaker comes out weeks after Superman. And Clayface, so two very different situations. But yes, box office numbers would, even then, I would say it's hard because two very different, economic climates. So we can look at the comparisons. I don't think it's the right comparison. I think the better comparison for Superman is The Batman, the last Guardians movie that James Gunn did. Man of Steel is a better comparison. But I mean, I understand your logic though, Jordan. I mean, you can compare it because they're two, starts of different cinematic universes, but still. I would imagine better comparisons would be like The Batman and stuff like that. So, okay, John, let's finish up the show with talking about the press screenings in a little bit more detail. So we have been seeing from people like you guys have been mentioning in the chat, the embargo comes or lifts on July 7th. But until then, the people that have seen this movie, they could not be more happy about how good this thing was. Chris giving it a 5 stars, saying, all I'll say is someone got Superman.
Hey,
right.
that's a dope Chris, not the Chris that's usually in this chat.
Gosh. But John, Superman 2 on steroids. We've been talking about it all show long. Very silly, very big. Your thoughts on this? Do you think that's a good comparison, Superman 2 on steroids?
I mean, considering that Superman 2 is I'm kind of iffy on the movie. Both versions, the Richard Donner cut and the theatrical version, are kind of
people are
on the fence for me. They both have strengths, but they both have big weaknesses. So I just think that there is a lot that is missing. But like in terms of it on roids, then it's like, oh, it's a big epic kind of movie because like the first Superman's kind of smaller. Well, I mean, the second one had General Zod and all and these big Kryptonian aspects. That I think it's safe to say that I think that's definitely a compliment because I feel like roids is kind of needed for that movie a little bit.
Yep. I mean, everything you've seen so far, like it all adds up. It definitely, there's nothing here that's surprising. Very big, very silly. I mean, just that scene with Lex Luthor and Superman alone tells you that. But yeah, it's exciting to hear that it's Superman 2 on steroids. I think they really nailed the formula with Superman. The original Superman movie is still very impressive. Kevin Feige's a big fan, obviously. So, but hey, speaking of the press screenings, it looks like Superman. The director himself, James Gunn, was at the screening. This is the guys from the Real Rejects. They got to see the movie. a special early press screening of the film, and you could see that they had all the posters up everywhere. They had that sign where you can interact with that. They had some tables set up. I saw a lot of the merchandise that they were offering there. I'm sure some of the folks that saw the movie got to spend up and get the stuff. These are the costumes on display. I saw the Funko Pops were there. The cape. I mean, this is amazing. Look at that. Holy cow. I don't know if they were giving these out. They probably were just giving these out for free. Who am I kidding?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lucky bastards.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a relief to see the reactions are positive, because there's always that, inkling of the movie looks great, but what if people go to see it and they're like, oh no. Oh, the
So
last
pretty
thing you
much
want to hear is,
most,
oh no.
I'm on Letterboxd right now, and I was going through the ratings. Most of them are like 4 to 5 stars. You have a couple stragglers, like a half star, a 1 star, or like no stars at all, where it's like they, again, NDA, they didn't even want to leave a rating.
Mhm.
So it's mostly like 4 to 5 stars. So yeah, that's definitely exciting.
That's great. That is great. Chris, we saw earlier, Chris Depp saying 5 stars. But John, the big thing that I think one of you guys were in the chat earlier asking about, did you guys talk about the post-credit scenes? Well, we're finally here. Turns out it's the last thing we're talking about today. But yeah, I saw this today. There is a potential spoiler here, I suppose. But considering what they're talking about, I don't know how much of a spoiler it's going to be. Before we get to it, I want to answer Manus Time's question. Do you think that the Los Angeles world premiere will be massive? I think a lot of comic book writers and even some previous Superman actors will be here. I bet you it will be. I mean, that and the New York one, because they will do first the New York one, then they'll go to LA, then they're going to Beijing. Or actually, no, they're doing LA first, then New York, then Beijing, because they love to travel backwards. But anyway, it will be big, because the LA premiere, the New York premiere, even the London and Paris ones will be huge. So I can't wait for that. I think Bridget might be able to go to the one in LA and give us a on the ground report. So that will be really nice. Not confirmed yet. Still trying to work that out, but that would be great. So yeah, we will definitely hope to see some of the other actors who won't be traveling abroad with the crew, but they will probably show up to the LA or New York premieres. Yeah. No, James Gunn has a good track record, Steven. I do agree with you on that. All right. I hope the Superman actors will turn up to the premiere. I do hope so. I know Henry Cavill's really busy filming a bunch of different things right now, but maybe he can show up. Tom Welling probably is not doing much, so he could probably be there. Dean Cain. Who else? Tyler Hoechlin, maybe.
Yeah.
So I know Bitsy Tulloch probably will show up, even if they don't ask her to show up. She's still a huge fan of the show. I mean, Superman Lois is currently nominated for a few awards, so yeah, I'm sure they will see some of these actors. Maybe not A-listers, but like I bet you at least some of the TV actors will show up too. Like I don't expect Amy Adams to be there, or Russell Crowe or Kevin Costner necessarily, but yeah, some of the TV actors could show up. Terry Hatcher might be there, kind of thing. Especially because they did that huge reunion recently, right? All those the previous actors, minus Henry Cavill because he was busy filming one of the new movies that he's doing for Amazon. But yeah, so yeah, Henry Cavill and his Crow reunion for Highlander, though, that's exciting, man. That is so exciting. We talked about it the other day. All right, John, I want to get your opinion on this before we get into this. Do you think we should spoil, if it is true, what the post-credit scenes are in the movie?
I don't think so. I just think keep it as don't spoil it.
Okay. All right. So in that case, let's just say this. There is more than one, according to this report, more than one post-credit scene. That's why they say scenes, plural. Ron saying don't spoil it. There you go. Exactly. So so we're not going to tell you what the scenes are, but if this report happens to be true, then there is more than one. And like James Gunn said, these scenes are not meant to necessarily give you a preview of what's to come next. So what I read, they're not like the kind of scene that we got at the end of Thunderbolts, where it's directly teasing the Fantastic Four. So the scenes are showing stuff, but they're not showing you like a preview of what's coming up next in the DCU. So I'll say that. And it doesn't sound like they're very long, but they are fun. They are funny. So yeah, James Gunn leaning into his humor, and that's where I'll leave it. I mean, I don't know, John. Did you read the?
I
the
didn't read
description?
it.
Yeah.
I don't want to be like Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck about. I read the leaks. I don't give a shit. But like this, I care about, and I clicked on the link and I considered it, but I'm like, you know what? I
Yeah,
want
you
to.
didn't scroll it. Yeah, exactly. All right, so there you go. There is more than one, and it doesn't necessarily preview what's to come next in the DCU, but you know, it is. There are two fun end tags, as they call them in the industry. So there you go. Um, oh, holy cow! Is that real? Is Michael? Oh wait, are you kidding, Manos Time? Is Michael Bay coming back to direct a new transfer? Hold on. Now are we gonna extend this show again? Holy cow! Now I'm looking up Michael Bay news.
Nope,
That's great.
nope, that's not true. I looked it up.
Okay.
It's bullshit.
Nope.
However, I do have a bit of kind of sad breaking news, but I did
What
want to
happened?
talk about it since the newest Mission Impossible just came out. I'm just gonna uh share my screen real quick, but I did want to talk about this. Unfortunately, Laylo Schifrin. We were just talking about composers too, who created the Mission Impossible theme and a lot of other great themes.
The iconic
Unfortunately,
theme. Yeah.
passed away at the age of 93. I just want, because I know people might talk about it. Laylo Schifrin, he was one of the names I considered when we were doing that composer tier list the other day. He was a legend, not just for Mission Impossible, but he was nominated for Emmys and Oscars and all this other all these other great scores. I don't know if he ever won one, but Mission Impossible Final Reckoning just came out, and he made the original TV show theme that obviously the movies borrowed for the films. So I just wanted to. I know it's kind of a downer note to end on, since Superman, we're hyping it up, but it's still important to talk about. Good with the bad, all that. But yeah, Laylo Schifrin unfortunately has passed away. But again, kind of like what I was saying when Ariana Grande's grandmother passed away. 93 is a hell of an age to go out of, and I'm sure he lived a long, prosperous life, and his legacy on film and on television is unmatched. And so rest in peace, Mr. Schifrin. You will and forever are a legend. So thank you for all your wondrous work.
Absolutely. Yeah. Rest in peace to the legend, and one of the great film composers of the recent, of our time, of the time before us even. And yeah, age 93. He did his big one with Mission Impossible. That franchise theme, iconic theme. It's one of those ones that you can immediately recognize in like the first couple of seconds of you hearing a note. So yeah, and that's not the only thing he did, obviously, but that's the one that he's most well known for. Yeah, rest in peace to Laylo Schifrin. But yeah, John, I did look up the news for the Michael Bay potentially coming back to direct a Transformers movie. Apparently, it's coming through Matt Belloni of the Puck News, and the Hollywood Handle is crediting him with that, saying Michael Bay will return to direct a new Transformers movie at Paramount. Nobody else has picked it up yet, so we're gonna hold off on talking about it. But yeah, great, much condolences to the family of the composer of Mission Impossible. Well, I'm just blanking on his name. I'm sorry, John. But what was I saying? Yeah, so yeah, it is hearsay right now, enterprising. The Transformers movie, Michael Bay thing. Nobody else has picked it up. It's not been verified, so we'll wait to talk about it until we get it from a more reliable source. I'll keep an eye out for it. It might be something we talk about tomorrow, and I love me some Michael Bay, some Bayhem, so I can't wait to see a Transformers movie with Michael Bay again, because they certainly haven't done any, outside of the Bumblebee movie, they haven't really done any better than Michael Bay. So, and he's not been directing a lot of stuff recently. He's been mostly working as a producer, so it must really be an opportunity.
I think he directed a documentary.
Yeah, like he's been exploring other stuff. So maybe this is something, like if he's coming back, then he's probably coming back for a very good reason, and at least something really thinks it's worth it.
I just can't get behind Pain and Gain. I can't.
I thought it was a good movie. It's not the best thing
you're like embellishing the
yeah,
like people who fucking like you're painting people who fucking tortured and murdered people as like good guys.
The subject matter wasn't good. I know. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Not the
all right. Okay. Well, guys, hey, Superman. It's literally 2 weeks away, and we can't wait for it. I'm sure we're going to be talking about it tomorrow. Thank you so much for everybody who dropped by the chat today live. I'm sure you guys are going to be checking out the show after we are live. To everybody watching live or watching after the show finishes, we love to hear from you in the comments. Get down in the comments down below. Hit the like, fam, on the way out, like Enterprising is telling you guys to. And we love to hear from you because we have a Q&A session tomorrow, so we'll bring your comments and questions in there. Any fan theories, we'd love to bring those in as well. And yeah, we'll be talking about more Superman tomorrow. Maybe we'll talk about some Michael Bay news as well. And yeah, we'll have lots of other stuff from Marvel, I'm sure. And yeah, guys, keep the hope. And as Superman will tell you, make sure to look up. So we'll see you tomorrow. John, thank you so much for another fantastic show. Thank you to everybody watching live. And make sure you hit the like button on the way out. And with that, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. We'll see you live tomorrow on another episode of DCU Daily.